here and at home watching. We are so excited for you to be here and join us for our meeting and give us your input for tonight. We love that. We will start our City of Fairview Board of Commissioner regular meeting agenda April 17th, 2025, 7:21 p.m. Ms. Jones, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Roberts.
Present.
Commissioner Hall. Commissioner Buffalini.
Present.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Here.
Mayor Anderson.
Present. And I do want to say Commissioner Hall called. He has had a death in the family, so he will not be here tonight. Item number 3 is prayer and pledge. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this community that we serve. And just please help us to serve them well, make good decisions while we're up here, and just guide and direct us through those decisions. We thank you that our community was spared from any catastrophic damage from the storms that came through. We are happy that all of our citizens got through that unscathed. We did have a little damage to the trees and stuff like that, but our citizens are what and who are important. So we just thank you for taking care of our community and protecting us. Please be with each and every one of our citizens. Be with Wayne and his family, and be with those who are sick and at home recovering. And just watch over this community and just help us all to take care of one another. And just, we ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 4 is Mayor's comments. I just want to thank Detective Reed and Officer Roberts for being here tonight, watching over us, and just, just making sure that our meeting runs as it should, and, just being here for us in that capacity. Also, I've got some comments at the end, and this, you never know how long meetings are going to go. So if you're not able to stay and you're not able to watch until the end, please revisit this meeting on YouTube. They're just informational things that I got from our Greater Nashville Regional Council meetings, and just something that I feel like the public would like to know, and just different opportunities. So just please rewatch it so that you can, see these items that I'm going to bring up. We will put them on the website as well, but I like for you to have the information ahead of time. So if you'd like, just, if you can't stay up, just please watch the meeting on YouTube at the end to get the information. And everyone, just please have your mics on and speak directly into the microphone so those of us at home, or those at home, can hear. Item number 5 is approval of the agenda. Approval of the agenda.
Motion.
Second. Yep.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Buffalini.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Ms. Jones.
Commissioner Buffalini.
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 5 passes 4-0. Item number 6 is citizens' comments.
We have one tonight, Mayor.
Thank you.
Becky Fitzgerald.
Hello.
Right there.
I need to give my address.
Just your name and address, please.
Okay, my name's Becky Fitzgerald. Put this down where I can see it. I live at 7303 White Oak Drive, and I live in the city limits. And I'm gonna read this so that way I can stay on track, if y'all don't mind. I want to thank you for taking the time tonight to hear my concerns. I've had some sleepless nights, and I've prayed on this for quite a while. I realize each one of you have had more than your share of concerns over the last months due to many issues of the community. This last storm succeeded running into my back door. Each time it rains, our property becomes a stream and it runs into a creek, sometimes into a river. We concern for our foundation, our home we've had for over 35 years. Our trees are a new concern now because the roots are, the soil's been washed away from our trees and the roots are being damaged, and we've got some big, beautiful trees that we've just had forever. But anyway, you can walk in the front, the sides, or the back, plus the water is going under through our house. We had a sump pump put in to take care of that. It takes weeks to dry, which creates another problem with mosquitoes and ants, and it's not only our property as well as others. This last week, in preparation of more rain, we placed mulch bags at the front of our driveway and down around the side and other locations around our house to prevent water from going into our home again. This has been an ongoing concern, and I live in a older community, but if you would look over an email I sent you on March the 18th, and just look at the pictures. I have a video which is too large to share, and just give us some guidance, some advice, help us to fix the issues so we can hold on to our home. And thank you very much.
Ms. Fitzgerald, could you repeat your address, please? I didn't quite get that.
Okay, 7303 White Oak Drive.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item number 7, public announcements, awards, and recognitions. A, city events.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. According to Richard Ross, the Easter egg hunt was a huge success, and I think it lasted 15, 20 minutes. So that's the way it goes. But there was a lot of participation and a lot of happy children. So I'm glad to report that. Our next event is Movie in the Park on Friday, April 25th with the movie Wild Robots. It'll be played at 7:45 p.m. Concessions will be available for purchase, and all proceeds will go to the Shop with the Cop program. Each child that goes to this movie will receive one free bag of popcorn provided by Strum Property Partners. And then Richard also wanted me to say that we are still accepting sponsors for the July 3rd event. For more information on being a sponsor, please call Richard at 615-387-6140. Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes.
Is there a date for the fishing rodeo yet?
I'm not sure. Can we go back one? Was it on that list?
There was no date on there.
I don't think you said.
Thank you.
WRA, right? Okay. Item 7B is Arbor Day proclamation. If Miss Eileen Brogan with Friends of Bowie would come up. You can come up here. I'm going to present you with the proclamation, and then I'll read it. There you go. And we'll get a picture after I read it. City of Fairview Proclamation Arbor Day. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas Dr. Evangeline Bowie used land management techniques, including planting over 500,000 trees that transformed barren and eroded land into a park treasure gifted to the city of Fairview that now includes over 700 acres of forest, lakes, and 17 miles of trails. And whereas the city of Fairview is located on the western Highland Rim and within a diverse and unique hardwood forest, and whereas the redbud tree has been designated the official city tree of Fairview, and whereas the city of Fairview was designated as a tree city in 2019, and whereas trees save stormwater retention cost, save energy, appeal to shoppers, slow traffic, provide health benefits, mitigate noise, provide wildlife habitat, clean and cool the air, attract people and industry, increase home values, increase pavement life, reduce crime, increase office worker productivity, and are beautiful. Whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And now, therefore, it be resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Fairview, Tennessee, does hereby proclaim April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, to be observed annually on the last Friday in April going forward, and urges the citizens to plant trees and protect our woodlands to promote the well-being of this and future generations. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the great seal of the city of Fairview be affixed the 17th day of of April 2025, signed Mayor Lisa Anderson. Would you like to say something? Okay, if you'll just go to the podium and then we'll get a picture.
We are going to have an official celebration of Arbor Day on the 26th, because that's a Saturday. It starts at 9 o'clock with the annual plant swap, which is sponsored by Friends of Bowie Park. And the Friends and the Parks and Landscape Board are collaborating to have the celebration go on until noon, and we'll have crafts for the kids and a tree scavenger hunt and some other activities, and we're going to be giving away 200 free trees. So be there.
All right, so we're going to get a picture with the board and you can hold up the proclamation. Rachel, you're elected. Perfect, both. That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's give a big hand again. Thank you, Eileen, for all you do for the city of Fairview and all of the Friends of Bowie Nature Park. Item number 8, staff comments and monthly reports. We'll start with item 8A, Planning Department report. Mr. Greer.
Good evening, Board. This report encompasses from January 1st, 2025 through March 31st, 2025. We completed 486 building inspections, 57 residential building permits were issued, 21 other permits for signs, accessory structures, demolitions, a couple non-residential building permits were issued. 31 Planning Commission applications have been reviewed by our staff. We've updated our new construction project list, single-family unbuilt units. There are 1,396 units still to be built. Townhome unbuilt units, 830. Apartment unbuilt units, 371, for a total unbuilt residences of 2,597. We're working on implementation for GovWell. Our expectation is to be live with GovWell by July 1st, 2025. As we discussed during the work session, we're working with TPUDC. We have submitted initial comments to them. We're compiling our final comments from our staff review to submit. Our expectation is to have all comments to TPUDC by the end of next week. They are in the process of drafting the public draft. Once the public draft is complete, TPUDC will present the draft to the public and hold a 30-day comment window. After the public draft comment window, a final draft will be prepared and presented to the Planning Commission for a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners for adoption. Our engineering codes and public works department have engaged in investigating multiple stormwater concerns throughout the city. Several of the concerns have been addressed by our public works department, and we're still working to investigate stormwater concerns since we've had some significant rainfall events in the last few weeks. Our stormwater concerns have been great in number, and so that's kind of an overview of what we've done the last 90 days. If y'all have any questions, we're happy to answer.
Any questions of Mr. Greer from the board?
I have one, Mayor. Not so much a question, but for the sake of I'm sure some of the citizens' blood pressure right now, hearing how many houses are on the, I guess, future agenda to be built. How many of those are actually currently being built? Do you have a number? And those are all the approved, just for everybody's education purposes. Those are approved. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are being built tomorrow. Some of them may go years before being built, but I just wanted to clarify that because I'm sure they created a little panic among some.
One moment.
So we have, there are 10 active developments out of the 25 that have approval. Currently, like I said, we have 57 building permits that are working today. So 57 is what we have for this year. Everything for 2024 is closed out. Typically, the cycle of a building permit is about 120 days. And so most of these will close out in the next 2 months, and we will continue on. We are a little ahead. Last year, we issued, I believe, 125-ish building permits. So we're a little ahead for this year, which was to be expected with the approvals that have been given in 2022, when they're now ready to go vertical on those projects.
So the 2024 building permits that were issued was roughly 5% of what's on the books. Is that
Correct.
about accurate?
We're
So-
expecting somewhere close to 200 building permits this year.
Thank you.
Sorry, I heard your ooh over there. With the majority of those being townhomes. There are several townhome developments, as y'all have probably seen, Cedar Crest. Each individual unit in there gets its own individual permit, and so They are constructing 2 buildings, but those are 10 individual permits. So you get a significant increase in permits with those.
Thank you for that clarification.
Since you brought up the storm, I'm going to say a couple words right now. So I was in Mississippi with my daughter, and we pretty much spent 3 days in her laundry room with her Great Pyrenees and her Border Collie. So I was not here, but Richard Ross was keeping me informed about everything that was going on in the storms here, and just thankfully that, nobody was injured. But I spent, after church, all day on Sunday with neighbors from Horn Tavern, Clements Lake, different parts of our community, just looking at videos. They've sent me all the videos, and we have Jeff Pack here. He has given a lot of good ideas on, how things can possibly be fixed to go, go better in storm situations. So, what I'm going to do, I was hoping to meet with the commissioner of TDEC yesterday at the GNRC meeting, but GNRC was not on. They weren't talking about those issues. They weren't talking about road issues. So TDOT and TDEC weren't available. But I would like to sit down with TDOT and TDEC and get professionals to look at the issues that we have and see if there's anything that we can get help with. And I know that State Representative Lee Reeves has reached out, and I know that even though we're in a situation where we can't get federal funding because of our size of our community, state funding should, I'm not saying it's there, but I'm saying I'm going to try to talk to him and see if I'm sure he will come out and take a look at the videos and just, go through what I went through on Sunday to see, what's happening. And if there's money out there and we can get some of that money to help with mitigating some of these issues, then, we'll be on top of that to make sure that we can see how that can move forward. Also, I just want to thank Danny Binkley. He gave me a ride in his side-by-side, which was quite interesting and thrill-seeking to take me through all of the different neighborhoods to see what was going on so I didn't have to walk. But we're here. We hear you. We know that there was a lot of water. 8 to 12 inches of rain produces a lot of water. Water's got to go somewhere. We have a stormwater ordinance, and I know that we're going to, make sure that that's put in place. But anything that was before that, we need to just get help. And we do have a work at the end of May. We have our third. It's a town hall meeting. We have our fifth Thursday. So even though we can't dialogue in our Board of Commissioner meetings, just remember next month we have that town hall meeting to where you can come and we can have dialogue and we can talk about all of this. But I just kind of wanted you to know the plan that I'm trying to put in place. And I'm sure, all the commissioners are willing to, do whatever we can to help. Anything else for this item? Okay. Item 8B is Park Department report. Would that be Bree? All right. You were a rock star last time. I know everybody's excited about your report coming up.
Lots of pictures again. All right, so this is our visitor count. This is compared with the last 3 years. In March, we had 28,299. In February, we had another no count. There was an issue with our counter. We fixed that for March, and that's the total for March. You can see that compared to last year, we are trending upwards. We have a lot of exciting park news coming up. Our parks naturalist Zena Williman has had her 1-year anniversary as a parks naturalist on January 8th. We have recently hired a brand-new parks naturalist named Kirsten Lester, and she will start this coming Monday. She's super energetic, super excited to be here, and we are so thankful to have her join us next week. Our community has chosen Hugo and the Impossible Thing by Renee Felice Smith and Chris Gabriel for our Bowie Storybook Trail. We will also be printing Run Wild by David Covell. Tot trail work actually began last week. Publix came out and dug post holes. Our framework is installed, and we are waiting on approval tonight to get the storybooks, the rights to the storybooks in order to have them printed. And there are sponsorship opportunities available. We are still taking picket orders. There are $50 per picket. Order forms are available on the Bowie Park website and at the Nature Center. We are still accepting camp registration. The spring camps were unfortunately canceled due to low registration. We only had one camper registered for one camp, and a lot of that is because it was a half-day camp. I think a lot of people couldn't take off work to drop them off and pick back up. But summer camps are filling up. 2 are almost full, and then we are still enrolling for the 6 to 8 age range. So if you want to come to camp, or if you want your campers to come to camp, get on it. Our first registration deadline will be the 2nd week of May. Volunteers and sponsors are always welcome to apply. We will have you fill out a volunteer application with the, at the Nature Center. Volunteers will be subject to background checks because we care about our campers. The Fairview Park System newsletter, I can't see. Okay, if you want to join the Fairview Park System newsletter subscription, please email me at bbailey@fairview-tn.org. It has park news, nature facts, and upcoming programs. And then if you'd like to get more information what's going on at the park and with the Friends of Bowie Nature Park, check out the Loblolly Times newsletter. You can email connect@friendsofbowienaturepark.com or visit the Friends of Bowie Nature Park website. All right, January program overview. The trend for all of the programs this year has been either feast or famine, especially in the earlier colder months. We have had a big program at least once a month, though. So the DIY bird feeders at Bowie Nature Park is what's pictured on the left under the January program overview. We had 47 attendees. And then our Animals in Winter interactive puppet show and hike, we also had 40 attendees. So feast or famine, but when they show up, and we are so thankful. All right, our homeschool program is going great. Bowie Homeschool had 30 attendees for our first February program, Winter Survival and Getting Ready for Spring. Miss Eileen Brogan's Great Backyard Bird Count had a great turnout too, with over 20 attendees. We had 10 attendees for our Lovebirds Craft and Bird Hike, where we made little paper birds and put little candies in them. Our second Bowie Homeschool was rescheduled due to inclement weather, and we are working on rescheduling that for May. And then our Twig Study and Woodland Hike, unfortunately, didn't have any attendees, but we are rescheduling that as well for May. There we go. All right. Our March Bowie Homeschool Freshwater Lakes, we had still a great turnout with 18 attendees. Our Read Across America Day with the Fairview Library and Miss Victoria had over 50 attendees. I stopped counting because it was hard to get the clicker going, but great turnout. We are so thankful to the Fairview Public Library for helping us out with that. Bowie Homeschool, Creek and River Life, we had over 60 attendees, which was awesome. We had to split everybody up into 2 groups with rotations. That is pictured on the bottom row. So lots of kids walking up and down a stream, which is awesome to see. And then our Citizen Science Nest Watch, we unfortunately did not have any attendees. All right, well, this is April programs. We are well into April now. But we had our Bowie Home School Flower Anatomy and ID. I was told we had around 20. Our Citizen Science Spring and Seek hike, I want to say we had about 25 attendees. The Star Party with the Bernard Seifert Astronomical Society was rescheduled. I don't have a definite date yet, but we're looking into May or June. The Friends of Bowie networking event in Around Town Coffee had a lot of attendees. How many would you say for that? Around 40. So yeah, that was great to attend and meet people from the community. The Easter egg hunt, I was told, had a great attendance as well. Lots of community involvement with that, and the Easter eggs went quick but slower than last year from what I'm told. Our pollinators had about 15 to 20 attendees this past week, and about the same for our Toddles and Tadpoles Craft and Hike. On April 22nd, we are doing an Earth Day trail cleanup, removing invasive species down the Stark Trail. We will be meeting at Shelter 1. April 25th, we have our movie night with Wild Robots at the playground, well, the playground field. And then on the 26th, the Friends of Bowie Arbor Day celebration and plant swap begins at 9 a.m., and we hope to see everybody there. This is just a friendly reminder to enroll all your campers for Camp Bowie, as spots are filling up quickly. Pictured is a bunch of activities that the kids had a lot of fun with, and we're looking forward to hosting more fun activities this year. And we just wanted to thank you all for your support. These are a couple ways you can get involved, learn about what's going on with the park, and get involved in the community as well. So, thank you all.
Any questions for Bree?
Mayor?
Yes.
Bree, I love hearing your presentations. Thank you so much. I was just told that June 7th is the rodeo for the fishing rodeo.
Okay.
June 7th is a fishing rodeo, and I was at the Easter egg hunt, and I know Mayor Anderson was there as well. It was awesome. We really enjoyed it, and we had the Easter Bunny there. It was really cool.
That's great.
So thank you.
So the fishing rodeo is June 7th at Veterans Memorial Park.
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you all.
I do have one more question, Mayor.
Yes.
When people come down to volunteer, they sign waivers. Are they allowed to dig with you, or is there? Do we have anything legal with that? Do we have to sign waivers?
We don't typically dig. What we normally do is ask that they pick up garbage or tree limbs off of the trail. If it is a, I guess, organized event, we can allow people to dig. But we have to look into deeper insurance for volunteers if they're going to be using manual tools.
I was just asking specifically for Friends of Bowie, because I know that they hold their own insurance policy as well. I just didn't know what the legalities were.
I would have to direct that question to Mr. Doherty.
I'm not sure. Our umbrella does not officially cover Friends of Bowie. That's a good question. I might need to get a better answer for you, but we have a pretty large umbrella, but we also there's a lot of things we don't want citizens to do as well for liability reasons. So shoot me an email on exactly specifics on that, and I'll get you a direct answer.
Perfect, thank you.
At the movie in the park, are there refreshments available, or how does that work?
Yes, so the Fairview Police Department will be selling concessions to benefit their Shop at the Cop program.
Okay.
And I was also told that a free bag of popcorn will be given to each child in attendance as well.
And that's by Shira Sturm with Fairview Nutrition. She's donating all of the popcorn, right?
Correct.
We want to thank her for that.
Yes.
And also make sure you purchase, at the policeman's tent with to help benefit Shop with a Cop.
Absolutely.
That all? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Item 8C, Economic Development Report, Ms. Patty Carroll.
Hey, guys, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board of Commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity. This is my first report, and so I'm kind of glad to talk about it, because I know my position has been some conversation, so I get the chance to share kind of what I'm doing and what I see, and hopefully answer some of your questions. And maybe if I didn't hit something this time, you could let me know, because I want it to be your vision too. We kind of came into this, and I know Tom had his expectations with the job position drawn out, but, you know, it's a jack of all trades kind of position. As we get into it, we see other ways that I can help. And so I'm glad to do that for y'all. So just to start out, this was part of the 2040 plan. The community came together and they had goals that they set, and this position was one of the things that they had vision. So it is a complete honor to get to do it. One of the first things I did was think about what could I do to support the businesses that are currently here. And I knew it was going to be important for the community to see something. There's a lot of my job that you cannot see. So it may be that somebody one day calls up and they want information on a site plan, and we may not know who it is. They won't tell us who they are. We just have to provide information. So a lot of that, I can't come up and say, well, XYZ business is inquiring, because a lot of times they won't even tell us. So some of this is hard to have a matrix on. And so I tried to lay out, and because this is the first report that I've done in front of the board, I tried to give an overview of what I've done so far. And then going forward, we'll be able to take the opportunity to say, hey, this is not important, this is. So we'll just go on. The first thing I did was the Round Town Coffee. I wanted to show the businesses, hey, we're here to support you. And I remember a day where all the businesses, because we had a local chamber, everybody came together for different events, and we knew who each other were, and we knew who the department heads were, and we knew who your elected officials were. So coming with that background, I kind of wanted that again. As we grow in the community, I didn't want to lose sight of that, us being able to be connected. So up here you'll see some coffee successes that we've had. And the most fun part of this is I have not had to search for one person to do a coffee. It has taken off, and I just booked October. So I've had no trouble. People are ready and waiting to do it. So that's been a great success, and I've had some great feedback. Now, this is a month through March, so we've had a couple more that's not on here. So if you want to go ahead, these are our future coffees. To let you know the locations, how it works is we have a coffee host, and y'all have all attended, so y'all kind of know at different times, but we'll have the coffee host. They purchase the coffee, and they provide if they want snacks or donuts, and they'll take a few minutes in the presentation to talk about their business. And then we also have a community partner. We started out with the city of Fairview at first, and so we would have a department head or, whoever they would send. We have now moved on to county offices, so we just add that in for our local businesses and community members could actually get to talk to the Register of Deeds or be able to see a face and just have that communication. So that's been very successful, and I think we're starting even, I didn't want it just to be the business owners. I hoped the community would come in, and we're starting to see a little bit of that. Y'all mentioned the Friends of Bowie Nature Park. They did a fabulous job, and they were a great host. And we were told there was probably close to 50, so it was one of our bigger coffees, but so glad to have it. Okay, this is another event that I wanted to do for the community, and it was a roundtable discussion. This was for business owners, and so Congressman Mark Green's office reached out. They had some time and wanted to come into the community, so we were able to do a roundtable discussion. People were able to talk to Congressman Mark Green about bills and issues they were having. It was a success. We do plan on doing that again with, we may have some state representatives or whoever's available when the Senate or the House is in recess. So we'll probably it's not going to be a monthly thing, more like a quarterly thing. So I look forward to having that again this year. Okay, and I just threw this in. It was fun. We were featured in the Business View magazine, which is an online magazine, and so that was kind of fun. And the Williamson Source picked up the article, and it was, good advertisement for business, and it was just talking about that we are a community that supports businesses. So, next. Okay, so because this is the, I kind of broke it down to last year since this is my first year. I'm just going to bring you up to speed, and obviously from here on out it'll just be quarterly. But I wanted you to kind of see how I spent my time. And so I broke it down to site meetings, and a site meeting is where I actually meet with somebody that is trying to look for property, trying to throw out ideas, would this property work? So I had one in the first 7 months that I was here. And then I had 10 property proposals. And that's where somebody calls, whether it be Williamson Inc., their economic development department, they'll call me and say, I have a client, they're looking for a property that's under 10 acres. Or they need industrial, and they'll give me the criteria, and then really quick, I will scan through the property, see what's available, what meets their criteria, and then, present it to them. A lot of this, I don't necessarily see the end product. It's me just trying to throw out Fairview as a location. So it may be that they come back or they don't. So, but just to explain that. Events held, there was 8 last year. So basically, it would be the coffee and the legislative roundtables. 91 meetings. These meetings are where individuals, I meet with them. Either they have called, it may be Zoom, it may be whatever. It may be that they're trying to sell the city something. It may be that they're trying to move to the city. It may be whatever. But individuals that want to meet, I will sit down and we'll go over whatever they want to go over. And so that I had 91 events attended. These are events I attend outside of the city or in. A lot of them are Williamson Inc. or economic development through the state. 107 events I attended from the end of April to December. This is the first quarter, so you can see, even looking at the numbers, things are busy. I've had 2 site meetings, property proposals, 4 events held, and those are the coffees. So meetings, 29, and events attended is 33, so. Okay, these are boards that I represent the city of Fairview on. The first one's Mid-Cumberland Action Partnership. This is a board that I was on before, but I now cover the Williamson County area. Mid-Cumberland Action Partnership runs programs like Head Starts programs. They also do food drives, and they also have assistance for people that elderly or that need help. So that is a board that I represent Fairview on. Williamson County Economic Development Council. I am the chair this year. I was elected the chair and starting, I guess, the first meeting that we do. It's a quarterly meeting. It's a mandate through the state that the mayors come together. And so they have community members and mayors, and and city managers come together. And so that is one responsibility I've taken on. Williamson Inc. Board of Directors, I get a seat just due to the fact of the representing of Fairview. So, and then also, I assist with, and these 2 I do with Ethan. The school bus route artificial intelligence, which is kind of interesting. This one is a county grant. They've brought us in. They're trying to see how they can use AI to get traffic around in a community. So I have found that really interesting and getting to work with partners across from the county. And then the Williamson County Safety Action Plan. This is a grant the county received and also the city of Franklin received. But we are now in the process of doing studies on traffic flows. I'm really excited about this because once we have this plan, it will help us go after grants even more. So we can already have proven facts when we're applying. So this is a really great opportunity, and both Ethan and I serve on the board. There is a survey, and Fairview's doing pretty good. I'm getting it filled out. Richard Ross put it on the website. I think they are going to come in the community some, and they were looking for events. Maybe I know for sure Nature Fest, July 3rd, or probably just Nature Fest. So anyway, that'll be great, but we can do it now. We can get on there, the website, and fill out. Fairview's done pretty good on filling out the survey. So keep it up. If you think a road's a problem and we need to know about it, definitely fill out the survey. Okay, everybody's topic. The intersection of Highway 100. As many of you know, I kind of inserted myself in this project because it is something back in 2017. September of 2017, I sat in a meeting and explained to TDOT why it was necessary to have a turning lane. So when I first came on board, this project kind of was at a standstill. I think Mr. Daugherty first got his position. He found out really quick TDOT was waiting on us to finish stuff, and so he had to hurry up and get the engineer to get things moving, and we called all the power to be. We got them in a room, and we've gotten things moving forward, and it goes out to bid May 9th. So I'm really excited. I joked with the guy represented from TDOT, and I said, I may have a party in the street. I'm so happy to see this happen. So goes out to bid May 9th, and then from there, it will take a while. And citizens, please don't hate us. It is going to be hard, but it's necessary. In the end, it will be worth it. And along with that project is the sidewalk project, and that will go around the same time. So if you want to go ahead and move on to the next slide. Okay, we just finished this up. Each year, last year we submitted several projects we would like to get on the RTP, which that's the Regional Transportation Plan from GNRC. We submitted this project again. We submitted it last year and we submitted it again this year. This is our desire to widen Highway 100. So basically, we had our engineer give us an estimate cost, and so where we sit right now, it would be $4 million. That does not include the $1 million in the design and survey and permitting, so $5 million would be a potential cost. That is a rough estimate, and so, but we do submit each opportunity we get to try to get this done, because I know it's a desire of the board, and so we want to try to at least be on their regional plan. So, anyway. And the Round Town Coffee. Oh, this was the video. So just join me, watch the video. It did have music. Want me to sing? Not the same effect without the music. This wasn't it, but that's okay.
It's me.
Thank you, Commissioner. Keep it up, I like it.
Questions I've carried are safe.
But you get the
Copyright.
gist. We've had a lot of community support. We've tried to make it, I don't know, we want people to come. We want people to get involved. And so these are just a few highlights. It's not just the coffee, it's events, either ribbon cuttings that we were attended, our state of the city that our city manager and mayor both did, in which we have a date, don't we, Mayor, for next year's state of the city? Yeah.
It's in September. We're trying to figure out when in September, because my son's getting married in September. So I asked them to, to redo the date, because it was right like the day before that he was getting married, and that would be rough. So they're looking at another day in September. So when that's finalized, we'll put it out.
Okay, thank you. And then if you have any feedback, I welcome it always. So like if you say, okay, this is not necessary. I did give you in your packet, just because I didn't know if you wanted that detail. So in your packet, I kind of, for this first quarter, gave you just the events I've gone to, and if you wanted to see it, maybe you want it for the packet, but not necessarily to read in the report. And I promise I won't make them this long anymore. But just to wrap up before I ask if y'all have any other questions, it is a great, great honor to sit here in my position. I get up every day and love my job. I serve a community that I have spent my life serving, and I get to do it in this way. So I want this position to be what you want it. When when the city staff does good things, it makes y'all look good. We all look good. So it's definitely a partnership, and I want it to be what you want it to be. So just keep that in mind. If there is anything that you would like to see or questions on why we don't do, or, you know, I'm happy. I'm focused on grants right now, and so we're looking for opportunities on what can we get grants on, so that's a big focus of mine. So anyway, any questions?
I have just a couple of comments, and then whoever else would like to ask questions. So, Patty Carroll, we have a lot of new people in our community, and Patty Carroll was our mayor, former mayor of our city, and I've known Patty for over 30 years, and there are people who live here, people who love here, and she loves this community so much, and I know that she puts her heart and soul into everything she does, because a lot of times when there are meetings, we attend together, and then a lot that she attends by herself that are more economic development related. But I do have to say, the coffee, that idea was so incredible, because our Chamber of Commerce, while being folded into Williamson County, Williamson Inc., there was a blank here as far as our businesses and our community coming together to be able to network. When she put that together, it took off. I mean, I don't know that any of us knew if there'd be 5 people or 50 people, but the first one she had, there was over 50 people. So, and like she said, they're booked all the way through October, and I'm sure, I mean, it's going to be well into 26 soon. But the main thing that I had no idea we were going to find out is the people that she signs up to come and speak. Like, you know, you'll have the person who hosts, and then you have someone come and speak. I can't tell you how many things that I've learned. I didn't know, as you saw Commissioner Roberts and Buffalini with the fire extinguisher. I've got a fire extinguisher in my business. I don't know how to use it. So, I mean, I didn't know how to use it properly, let's just say that. And, you know, for her to have, you know, the fire department come out and demonstrate that was a big help, because I know people have them in their homes too. But also, there were 2 different things that happened. One was with the bank, and one we just found out about with the Register of Deeds, Sherry Anderson. If you own property, there are people out there that can go into the system, and it looks like an official document, and they can have it officially, like you can go buy a notary stamp, and they can take your property from you. So if you go and sign up, I think on the website, right, Patty, with the Register of Deeds, so that you get alerts if anyone tries to do that. I mean, I had no idea. I own my property, and to think that someone could go in and do a quick claim deed with a fake document, that's very scary. So I just appreciate all the people you bring to speak to us about different situations that we can learn, because I had no idea that that was even a thing. So I appreciate you looking into different people who can actually help our community find out and safeguard themselves.
Mayor,
Yes.
thank you. Patty, thank you for your presentation, and I know it's a challenge to step out for the first time and to put out information and maybe not know exactly what the board is looking for. And I can only speak for myself. I'm sure that the others will speak for themselves, but I'm having a little bit of a struggle attaching what your report is about to some of the things that are functions of your job description. So a couple of just really specific pieces of feedback for future reports, and we can meet separately later. I agree the coffees are successful, everyone likes them, but I'm not sure what the measure of success is. So is it attendance, or is there something, an outcome that needs to come forward from that? What I'm hoping to see more of in future would be things that are tied more to identifying what our economic strengths weaknesses, deficiencies are, and then how we can remediate those. So some plans for what we could do to fix those things or to build on the strengths that we have. When you say that you're going to go look for grants, how have you identified what grants we need? What holes are you trying to fill? And what are you basing that on? And so what kind of structure do you have in place to seek those out is the kind of information that I'd like to see in future planning. I'd really like that a lot. And more about the meetings. So if you're having meetings and you're going to these events, and I've done some, like a rough mock-up about how many hours that would take in just the first 8 months that you were in this position. It's fewer than half of the hours if you're basing 40 hours a week on 4 weeks out of 8 months. So I don't know if I'm too off the mark on this, but what's the rest of the time being filled with? It's a big job. It's got a big line item for a city staff member. And I think that we've got a lot of questions. You know that. We got a lot when we were running for office. We were still getting them. So we need to report back to the city about what this position is doing and how it's building economically. I see the things like road widening, street lights, and sidewalks as the city manager and the city planner and city engineer functions. I don't see how that's tied to economic development. And if it is, then I think that your job is to draw that out more explicitly. So those are some of the things that I'd like to see in future reports, and we can meet separately and talk a little bit more about it. Thank you again for stepping out for the first time. I know you love Fairview. I know you love to serve Fairview. I'm glad to get this opportunity to help develop this position.
Mayor?
Yes.
Patty, thank you very much for that presentation. A lot of these events that you go to, I go to a lot of those events with you, or, we seem to be at a lot of those events together. These events are also used as networking for Fairview. We've been talking to a lot of people that have nothing to do with Fairview, and it brings interest at these events to Fairview, to these people that have no idea where we are, or what we do, or anything like that. So that's the only comment that I have as far as all the events. Just to echo Commissioner Roberts, I think all of the items that she asked for were valid, and I think that would be a great additive to your going forward. Even if we had some sort of, maybe even like a monthly report, it doesn't necessarily have to be a presentation. Presentation could be quarterly, but a monthly report for us, I think, would be very good, or at least turned into our city manager and then to us. I think that would be a great benefit to all of us. Thank you.
Anybody else?
My turn.
Okay, go for it.
You mentioned the Highway 100 project, the
Yeah.
conversation that you were having about potential getting that back on TDOT's radar. What was the location of the start and finish of that span of road that you had? It was kind of difficult on the map to identify.
The Highway 100 widening. It pretty much picks up, it's Bowie Lake Road all the way out past to what? Oh, Cumberland. Okay. So it basically is going to help the bottleneck. And so basically, we are submitting, trying to, hopefully one day, developers, and when they come, we'll ask them to do their part. But for right now, we were, at one point, you've heard them talk before, at one point, we were on the 10-year plan. When TDOT came in and revamped how they were doing stuff, we got off of the plan. So we have an opportunity to submit and our needs. And so that is one of the items that we put on our need list. So this was a rough draft from our engineer, but it is the second time we submitted. You don't have to have everything exact, but it shows what we need, where we're at, and they do these check-ins, so.
Well, I just asked because we all know how hot topic that is in the city with citizens, and I'm sure they will see that was mentioned and have questions. What section, how far along is, and I think it's important to probably note that even in a most successful outcome with those conversations, that's still probably 10 years out, correct?
Yes.
So nobody
Unfortunately.
get overly excited thinking that's like, oh, we might get bumped up and in 18 months, they're going to take, That's not going to happen. Oh, sorry. So yes, that is not a tomorrow thing. I think it's great that we're having those conversations and trying to push those on to TDOT, but I don't want it to be confusing to anybody that is somehow
Yes.
expedited to anywhere in the foreseeable future. You mentioned you've had quite a few conversations with businesses showing interest in the city. It doesn't seem, and I get it, it takes time. Those things are long-term cycles, right? You're not going to just get a call and then next week they're buying land and building. But in the feedback that you receive from those conversations that you're having, is there any takeaways? Is there anything like, this is what they're, they loved Fairview for these reasons,
Yeah.
but it was a no because of this or that type of thing? I would love to know that.
Yeah.
feedback.
So for a while, there was a big push for industrial. So I would get calls, there were like a piece of property in the industrial park. They would say, hey, it might have gotten them interested in Fairview, but then all of a sudden they're saying, well, is there other properties that would fit their needs? And so what I do is I just start looking around for properties that might. I send it over, and we just go from there. A lot of it, Williamson Inc. or the state has been contacted, and so we just follow up with what's in our community.
Yeah.
And so, but no, I don't get to know who it is. It's
That's
not
fair.
typical.
And I understand the
Yeah.
reasons why they would want to keep that to themselves. It's pretty common, I think, when businesses are considering different areas, they don't want to overcommit or look like they pulled out for whatever reason, give themselves a bad name. And I get it. Real estate, we don't really have control on what's for sale and what's not, right? Like the land is either there or it isn't. But when there is land there, I'm just curious if there's specific things that this board could benefit from knowing, saying like, hey, we've had interest, but as soon as they get to this factor, everybody walks away. And that would be lovely to know, right? So
Yeah.
we could then start taking steps as a board to say, what can we do to prevent that from happening, or fixing that issue to where we become more appetizing to businesses when they're considering our community. And you don't have to have those answers right now, but that's something that in the future I would love to have just
Yeah.
some additional insight into.
Yeah, I'm a lot like Commissioner Roberts. I'm a goal setter and I like matrix, but it's hard. That's the hardest part of my job is with these site developments or these people contacting. All I can say is I spoke to somebody. I can't tell you until I get the win and we know for sure, okay, this is, and that's, it's a big part of my job. Yes, I may only had a few, but it's one of those things I have to stop what I'm doing right then and there because they need it quick. And I have to research the properties that are available. Then I have to go call the agents and make sure, because I don't want to send these, people down a long track. So, it's interesting. It doesn't seem like much, but it really, it's a lot. And property goes quick here. So, I start trying to do a spreadsheet of, okay, what properties do we have? I handed y'all a property list because I had just done it for somebody looking for property when y'all were having discussions. And by the time y'all started looking at, are there different locations for the firing range, my list was like maybe 2 were still on there. So that's how quick it changed. And I had just done it not long ago. So it was pretty accurate information. So, but yeah, I'll try to give you some more information. It's just like asking anybody to say how they spent their 40 hours a week. And if you're in government, it's different every day. It may be you're working on one thing, and then all of a sudden you get a call and somebody needs something. I do help out the city manager and try to help Ethan if I can. I'm sure Ethan would rather me be a little more help, but there's some things that just I can't answer and I need Ethan. So, but yeah, we'll work on getting what you want as far as a matrix. But there's not a lot of wasted time in my life. I will tell you this. So we'll get there and try to follow up and get a little more what you want.
Something else too, one more thing. To me, and this is just outside looking in, you're right, land moves fast, right? Like, so, in my opinion, the logical thing would be to have an idea of what the community needs, right? And then have conversations with those businesses to say, what is it that you need to be able to consider us? And then get their needs and wants to where when that property does come available that checks all the boxes that we have proactively looked through, we can say, we've got one that matches perfect, right? Instead of trying to sell the land to them, you flip it, right? You know their needs and you wait until the perfect land comes available, and then it's not, all you have to say is, hey, we got it, and then they're like, oh, this works perfect. And I think it would provide insight to us as you talk to more businesses and you can accumulate more and more data points on what their needs are and what they're looking for, we can start to identify weaknesses within our community that we can strengthen so we become, again, more appetizing to these businesses.
Yeah, we participated when I was in office. We tried to get it underway, but it didn't happen at the end. But there's programs out there where you can get property site ready. So if somebody's seeking to, move their, manufacturing business, we can have so many properties listed. And the people don't have to have it for sale. They have agreed that, hey, we're willing to discuss this and we'll have it site ready. So there's opportunities out there. We can look into it. And as far as grants, I'm not willy-nilly in grants. I'm looking for opportunities by the lists that we have. So Ethan and I put together, and city manager, lists of needs and projects that are going on. So I have, and I'm happy to share, and I should have put it on the PowerPoint, but it's not a me thing, and I tried to focus more on, the last year, So this was a little more frou-frou, and knowing what you want, I can provide it. But we do have lists, project lists, and that's what I'm not just trying to think of, oh, I want, this. It's actually a working list of projects that y'all have seen, when the city manager gave, trying to go over the bond money, these are wants. And so I'm looking for stuff like that and just road grants, 100% road, because anything that we get, with the Highway 100 widening, we're going to have match money. So it's not the days of the city coming or the state coming in and just paving your highway is no longer. There's people like Franklin that have a 50% match and are not, getting their jobs moved up. So one of the advantages is I do have knowledge of GNRC and how it works. It was hard for me to sit in the meetings when I was no longer there and know that Fairview wasn't on the list and we didn't have attendees going anymore. And I watched that for 5 years. So I'm very happy that the mayor is attending the meetings, and y'all are welcome to come. It's open to the public. She is the only voting member, but it thrills me because if you're gonna get money, you have to show up to those meetings and you have to have stuff on the board. Even though we weren't 100% ready to do the Highway 100 if we had to come up with any kind of match. But if we're not on that list, we're never gonna get it. So it's just a reality. So it's some of that stuff I do bring some knowledge at, and I understand what we have to do. And that's why these relationships with these legislators are so important. Sam Whitson was crucial to getting the Cumberland Road project us even heard. I was told that we didn't need a light at Cumberland, that they had 5 matches that you had to have criteria, and we didn't meet it. We left the meeting with my passionate display of why we needed it and they were wrong, that they agreed that they could do a turning lane. No light was in there. But once they came out and started working, they agreed. We were right, and a light got added. So it's these relationships and just making sure that we are showing up and showing that we want to be a part of the county. And I know to some people, it's like, why do we need somebody to go to an event in Williamson County or ribbon cutting? But it's the relationships, 100%. Commissioner, you know that, well, all of y'all have been to different stuff in the county, and you got to know people, and you got to let people know you have a problem. There may be something that we need, and, because we are able to call Mayor Anderson up, and he knows the issues, and we have the relationship. So it's all part of it. It may not be easy for everybody to understand of why do we need somebody to go to ribbon cutting in Williamson County. Well, the city manager and department heads, when we take them out of Fairview to go attend an event, it's business is not getting done. It makes sense for me to do it. Even when I wasn't in this position, there is not an event that I don't try to get a hotel. I have about 3 people I know that own hotel, and I try every time I see them to tell them, we're ready, Fairview needs a hotel. But so, it's just those relationships. So I'm thank you for your time. Anything you want, please reach out. Commissioner Roberts, if you think of anything else you want, I'm happy to try to provide that information. And I try to get it right back to you. I know that Commissioner Bufalini asked something, and I had it, by the end of the day. I responded quickly, but I had the details he wants. And so I try to be very responsive because I know y'all have full-time jobs and you work and you get a lot of questions, and so I'm happy to try to get back to you as quick as possible. So, anything else?
Mayor?
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Who writes the grants right now that how do we apply to these grants?
You'll probably have to address that to the city manager.
We'll probably work with, right now, the agency, probably work primarily with the GNRC, where Patty and I talked to a gentleman today about a grant for lighting out at the interstate, and they said they would take care of the administration. A lot of it just depends on what it is. Luckily, we have relationships with some folks that are very knowledgeable of certain grants. Now, you'll get into some grants we maybe not know a lot about, but if we were looking for a grant through for parks, you'd go in one direction. Looking for, it just depends on what you're looking for.
So between Williamson Inc. and GNRC, they help us write the grants?
Well, they at least help us apply or help us go to where we need to. But GNRC is a big player, yes, and Williamson Inc. can be, but not so
Right.
much on the grants.
So then we don't need to budget for a grant writer?
Not at this point. I don't see. Down the road, maybe we're the grants. I don't see that need at the moment. I see a lot of other needs ahead of it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Item 8D, Police Department Report. I assume that's Detective Reed? All righty.
Hey, good evening. It's good to see y'all. All right, this is going to be the first quarter. It's comparative from 24 to 25. In January, we had 0 overtime. In 25 February, we had 22 hours of overtime, and in March, we had 9. That's comparative to 2024. Next slide. Training hours, the comparison is 254 for January, 366 for February, 554. Again, in March, it's pretty comparable. Next. Arrest comparison, this year and in January, we had 66 arrests, 74 arrests in February, and 70 arrests in March. Next slide. Our citation comparison, 151 citations in January, 109 in February, and the same from last year in March. Our accidents, we had no fatalities to start out. January, this year, we had 19 auto accidents. February, 9, very low. And in March, it was compared to March of last year. Our calls for service are steadily increasing. You can see that. I think that's just with the city growing. We're going to have more calls for service and more self-initiated activity in January. You can go back one more. In January, we had 1,130. In February, 1,125. In March, 1,191. Next slide. For our LISO sales, we got $43,826. That was our first quarter. Next. As mentioned before, we have Movie in the Park. That's going to be April 25th. We will have refreshments and hamburgers, and I believe we have hot dogs. The concessions do go to Shop with a Cop. Let's congratulate Seth Standridge for graduating the police academy, and any citizen that wants to introduce themselves, they should. For drug seizures, our first quarter, we got $8,900 from forfeitures. And I wanted to briefly talk about some of the car burglaries that happened in Cox Run subdivision and out in Castleberry. Those subjects have been identified and they have been taken into custody. One thing that I would like to say is that here in Fairview, we solve our crimes. We look into them. We go after those people that come into our city and commit those crimes. It is helpful and it helps you as citizens to lock your doors on your vehicles. Do not put anything that is of pertinent information into your vehicle. Take your purses and wallets out, anything that's valuable, and that protects you. Don't go by the old adage, I'd just rather they break my window. You're more likely they'll just come up to your car and leave. So lock your doors. Any questions?
Any questions?
Super quick question, I hope. Was there anything that people did that was helpful in solving the crime? Is it helpful for us to have cameras outside? Like, was there anything that we did that helped with that?
It is, I can't speak specifically to this case, just because it's not over yet, but in general, it helps tremendously to have cameras outside of your house. So Ring cameras, they're always very, very helpful, and high quality picture is even better because then we can identify their faces. It just getting something off Amazon because it's cheap doesn't necessarily help. It may make you feel better, but it doesn't really help the police.
Question, just for, I guess, general knowledge, but you may not be able to answer this since it's still an open case, but was there anything particular about the cars that, were they all in poorly lit driveways? I mean, was there anything that stood out? There was like, people, if you did this, you probably would have not been a target.
I can say there was probably, other than not locking your doors, there probably wasn't anything that you could have done differently. You should just be sure to make sure that your car is secure. And light, in general, always helps. If you park your car in a parking lot next to a street lamp, you're less likely to have your car broken into. It's a deterrent. Thieves don't like light.
Mayor?
Yes.
I don't know if you can comment to this or not, Detective Reed. Were these individuals, were they from Fairview or outside of Fairview?
I can't answer that.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
I just wanted to say that motion lights, my son installed some motion lights at the house, and I think he installed too many because every step I take, a different one comes on. But it's really kind of cool, though, because, you know, I would think that somebody's, I mean, maybe other people don't think this, but I would think somebody's flipping on a light and, you know, so, but it helps me to see better, and it lights my whole driveway and my sidewalk. and my porch up to the door. So, and they're not that expensive. So, is that it all from everyone? Thank you, Detective Reed.
Thank you.
Item 8E, Fire Department Report, Chief Hughes.
Mayor, Commissioners, this is our report for the first quarter of 2025. Same with, as the police department's experiencing, our call volume is steadily increasing. I know it doesn't show it on the first 2 months, even though they kind of held steady with our emergency calls, but we had a big jump in March. Most people would think that was because of all the storms we had come through, but we had very few storm-related calls that we were called out on. We did have a couple, but not enough to make that increase. Significant events, we had one extrication where we had to use our tools to get someone out of a vehicle. We had one vehicle fire, 8 grass fires, a dumpster fire, and 2 building fires. We had 52 overlapping incidents. Again, that's where we have one crew out on a call, and before they can clear that call, another call comes out. We had 41 mutual aid or automatic aid responses, and that's to neighboring areas, and those could be the building fires or the grass fires, were most of them. Average response time was 8 minutes and 52 seconds, and then our average time on scene is 24 minutes, which is up, and when we have fires, that usually puts us on scene a lot longer than just the standard medical call. Next slide. First quarter, this is a call breakdown. Again, we had fires and the service calls, any severe weather. As you can see, it's a very small piece of that pie. We only had 2 calls that were caused by the weather. Again, medical calls led the way in the percentage. This is our heat map and some pictures from some of the on-scene incidents. As you can see, since it's first of the year, everything's really dotted out. Those green areas and red areas will begin to grow as the year goes on. Fire prevention, this is our fire marshal. He did 65 fire and life safety inspections and follow-ups. Again, everybody, all the business owners here have been very compliant. He's only had to issue a few minor corrective actions, and everybody, when they get re-inspected, they have been compliant. He did several plan reviews as well as I did, and we had 15 pre-fire plans. Again, if anyone in the city needs a smoke alarm installed in their home, call the fire department. You call this number. You can also go on our website and request, but you call the number and there's a prompt for the fire marshal. And you hit that prompt and you can leave a message. He'll get the address and he'll set up a time for us to come out and put those in for you. Next. First quarter training, we had 1,838 hours. These are just some of the pictures of us training and doing things. We had extrication training out at the lot. We had some forcible entry training. We've got new firefighters that started this week. None of those pictures are on here yet, but they've been training all week, every day with each crew. They'll go through another week of days on shift before they're assigned to their shift. But they'll be Monday through Friday training with every shift until then. I think that's it. Any questions?
Mayor?
Yes.
Have we been getting reimbursed, I think this is for the city manager perhaps, from Williamson County for the 2 additional firefighters yet?
No, so the 2 additional firefighters just started this week.
Right.
We are working on our agreement with them. We have an agreement in the works with them, us and the Williamson County Fire Chief and the Public Safety Director. We know what our agreement is. It's in hands of legal right now. They're just trying to nail out the stuff. I would assume that would probably take over on the new budget year when they would start actually compensating us for those calls.
Thank you. One more question, and I
Right
promise
now,
I'm
we're
done.
not covering that area either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. One more question. If somebody needs fire alarms, you help us with that, fire detectors. If they have to
Smoke
change
detectors.
smoke detectors, sorry. If they have to change the batteries, do you assist with that as well? And what if they're 25 feet high? These are questions that I got that someone asked me to ask. So
We would rather not someone fall off a ladder. I would not like to be inundated with calls for us bringing ladders into in people's houses in non-fire events, because they're usually made for fireworks, so they're dirty, they're not, So we have helped in that case before to help people change batteries that they couldn't if they were elderly and didn't need to be on a ladder, but we don't normally do that as a rule, though.
Are there smoke detectors 25 feet high?
Some of the new construction has.
Seems like to me, it'd take a long time. I'm burned up before the smoke gets to the
No, actually,
25 feet.
the
I
heat,
don't know.
they hang them high because the heat and smoke gets
Yeah.
to the height first before it settles down to the bottom. So it's got to fill up the cavity first to push down.
I
But-
actually have one that high.
But some of the
Wow.
new construction,
That'd be
they have
like-
vaulted ceilings and things like that, so that
Shoot.
those are usually hung in the highest point. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Alrighty then. Item 8F, Public Works Department. So who do we have from Public Works?
That would be me, Mayor.
Yay, Public Works, Mr. Greer.
Public Works Department completed multiple maintenance projects throughout the city over the last 3 months. They've ended the leaf pickup program for the season, and they have begun the chipper service. The chipper service has started as a very busy time this year with all of the severe storms and several down limbs and trees throughout people's yards that they have put up along the roadway. So they are very busy chipping. The storms that we had contributed to that. Please give our Public Works Department time to work through their routes. The chipper service begins each week on Tuesday and will continue throughout the week until the zone is complete. If you believe that your home has been missed on the chipper route, please contact the Public Works Department at 615-799-1585. Census report includes a time frame of January, February, and March. During that time, Public Works worked countless hours due to snowstorms, completing roadway plowing, and cleared down trees from the roadways during the severe storms. They're also working with our department, addressing stormwater issues with clearing culverts and assisting in our engineers' recommendations on stormwater corrective actions. So we're working hand in hand. They are out every day, all day long, working very hard. I did ask Todd about the paving projects. They're overseeing Tennessee Valley Paving as TVP is paving throughout the city. I think several new streets have fresh asphalt on them today, and there are a few still left to get done. They are taking a brief pause for the next 2 weeks, and then they will pick back up with paving. So, just as a cautionary point, TDOT did notify us that they've issued some permits for Piedmont Natural Gas along Highway 100. You've probably seen them at King Road and Highway 100 currently. They are relocating the gas line that runs along there back off of the right-of-way for the sidewalk project that Patty spoke about with TDOT. So they've given them permitting to do that. That is not through the city. If you have any challenges with traversing through the city and would like to contact TDOT, you're more than welcome to. But that is all permitted by TDOT and not through the city. So wanted to make sure that everybody knew that. Expect a lot of traffic delays over the next 24 months between Cumberland and the rec center. There's going to be quite a bit of construction with sidewalks and road widening and lights going in, and it's going to be a challenge for the city for a little while, but the long-term benefit, I think, outweighs the short-term challenges.
So on Chester Road, there is a ditch that has probably 30 feet of limbs. So I just want to remind everyone, go to the website. I think it's what, 10 by 3, something like that. So if it's not understandable, this is how it works. You put the 10 by 3 out, let it be picked up, and if you have more than that, just put it out again the next time and keep doing that until it's all gone, because if you put the whole entire 30 feet by 5 feet, it's not going to be picked up. Am I correct about that?
Correct.
Okay.
They will
So
only
make
pick up
sure to
10
go to the
feet by
website and get the information and know that, know how to do it, because it will get picked up, but you got to do it, the way it is on the website.
And to find out the zone that you're in, you can also go to the Public Works website and utilize their map to find your zone. Are there any questions that you would like to know more information about from Todd, and we can get those and email them out to you?
Mayor?
Yes.
If we can get a schedule, that'd be great. Also,
The schedule for,
I'm sorry, for the paving for all, and what's going to be paved in the future. Also, Chester just has the first coat, but I see that we're starting other roads as well. Are we able to suggest to finish one project at a time?
the Chester Road project, we're working in conjunction with Piedmont while they're laying
Yes.
their natural gas line so that we're able to get them completed with their project so we can pave and then not have additional construction on that road.
So what has been completed as to date?
I believe Old Nashville, Taylor Road, Castleberry, all of the streets in Castleberry. Northwest Highway has a leveling code on it. Chester Road has a leveling code on it. I know Mary Susan is about to get milled. That'll be in the next, starting in like 3 weeks, they're going to mill Mary Susan. Glen Haven is fully paved. Tom, do you have any others?
I've got the list that I can send out, but there is a little more complication to it. We're also dealing with culverts with the American Rescue Plan funds, and we're also trying to coordinate our paving around that. So we're trying to get some of the cover work done and then pave over the top of it once instead of paving, cutting it, and then having to repave. So I think when it's all done, I think it's going to be nice, but we're just trying to maximize funds as far as not having to redo work where we can.
Yeah, I'm just concerned because, I mean, especially, I know we've been battling with Chester when it rains and all that. Some of the homes are their driveways are flooding out. So that's just, I just want to try and address that if we can. And I know you had said that the pitch goes the other way. I was up there and I went up there with a level for an hour in the rain, and it is flowing the opposite way of what I was told. So just letting y'all know. You know which I'm talking about, which area specifically.
Anything else? All right, thank you, Mr. Greer. Item 8G, Finance Report, Mr. Darty.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. I've given you 3 reports. This is through March. One is the Board of Commissioners budget report, your expenditures. The next report is a summary financial statement with detail on the on the revenue, and summary on the expenses. And the last report is the balances of each account we have. As always, I'm available for any questions regarding the finances by email, phone, meeting, and if you have anything tonight, I'm welcome. I know we're trying to keep time on my mind, but any questions you have tonight, feel free to ask, but I'm always available. Just shoot me an email or whatever. I can get you the answer.
Okay. Item 8H, City Manager Report, Mr. Darty.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. We've had some, we've been very fortunate, but it's kind of some unprecedented weather here lately from March 30th through April 5th. Seemed like every day there was a chance for severe weather. I just want to commend the Public Works Department, the Police and Fire, and our PIO officer, Richard Ross, for the time they put in and just the extra work that goes in with those events. Want to remind everyone that City Hall will be closed tomorrow in observance of Good Friday. I wanted to let y'all know the budget schedule. Right now, we've got the schedule is first read on May 15th with a workshop prior. Second read is scheduled for June 5th with a workshop prior. Also looking to schedule an MTAS sponsored strategic planning session from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with lunch provided on either August 9th, 16th, or 23rd. I will send an email out next week to see which dates work best, but seems like that's kind of maybe just a little bit after most people are out of town and then maybe right before school gets really cranking, so just or those type of activities. So, I'll be thinking about August 9th, 16th, or 23rd and be looking for an email. And if a certain date is best for you or a certain date does not work for you, just let me know. And I've talked with MTAS, and they're good for facilitating on any of those dates. But that's all I have to report tonight. Thank you.
Any questions from the board? All righty. Item number 9 is consent agenda. A, minutes from March 20th, 2025 Board of Commissioner work session. B, minutes from March 20th, 2025 Board of Commissioner regular meeting. C, Resolution 19-25, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a renewal license agreement with the Tennessee Department of Transportation. D, Resolution 21-25, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement between Williamson County, Tennessee, and City of Fairview, Tennessee for the performance of road work. And E, Resolution 22-25, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the grant contract between the Governor's Early Literacy Foundation and the City of Fairview.
Motion to consent the agenda number 9, A, B, C, D, and E.
Second.
Any questions from the board? Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 9, A, B, C, D, E, pass 4-0. Item number 10, old business. 10A, annexation, 7922 Crowcut Road. We will now open the public hearing. If anyone would like to speak on this, please come to the podium. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Item 10A2, Resolution 12-25, a resolution to annex certain territory upon written consent of the owner and to incorporate the same within the boundaries of the City of Fairview, Tennessee, with RS 40, single-family residential zoning, map 021, parcel 017.01, 7922 Crowcut Road, 8.66 plus or minus acres, owner John Hollers. Mr. Greer.
Mr. Hollers submitted to the city a piece of property for annexation. This 8.66 acre parcel is contiguous with the municipal boundary. It does share a boundary with the proposed Bellhaven project. This property would come into the city as RS 40 zoned, which would be minimum 40,000 square foot lots. The intent that was given as the proposed reason for annexation is that the owner would like to split off 2 acres for a family member to build a home on the property, and that is not able to be done within Williamson County zoning. There is a representative tonight for the project. If you have any other questions, he's more than happy to answer. I know that this is a second reading of this. It's been a while since we've had a meeting. I feel like this did have a positive recommendation from the Planning Commission.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions from the board? Ms. Jones?
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts.
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 10A2 passes 4-0. Item 11, new business. 11A, ordinance 2025-03, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the City of Fairview, Tennessee by rezoning a 2.2 plus or minus acre portion of the 5.60 plus or minus acre parcel located at 7711 Horn Tavern Road, consisting of Williamson County Tax Map 022, parcel 136.00, from RS40, single-family residential, to R20, 1 and 2 family residential, property owner Jeff Pack. Mr. Greer.
Mr. Pack has expressed an interest in rezoning this property to build 2 single-family homes. This property is located on Horn Tavern Road. It's directly across from Pepper Tree subdivision. There's currently a dilapidated structure that Mr. Pack intends to demolish to construct the new properties. The reason for R20 that we spoke about with him as staff, there are some challenges on this site that would limit it to only being able to have 2 lots due to some water challenges along the western boundary of the site. And then also for the home sites to be able to be positioned with those challenges, the setbacks would not work with the RS40 zoning, although he could do 2 lots today as it stands as RS40. The setbacks are more favorable to be built with R20. And so that was our recommendation to him. This does match the 2040 plan for the area. Pepper Tree across the street is RS15. The surrounding properties to this are RS40. Mr. Pack has his primary residence directly to the south of this property. And so he is a impacted adjacent property to this rezoning as well. He's also here tonight to answer any questions. This did receive a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission.
I do want to say,
Motion to approve.
let's make a motion first.
Second.
I do want to say that I've received several calls from residents, Pepper Tree, asking if something was going to happen with the house that is, dilapidated there in the front. And they are excited that this is going to possibly be a situation where that house will be removed as their drive comes straight down and faces it as they leave their neighborhood. Also with Mr. Pack's property and home directly on the south side of this project or this property, I know that he would not be building, and with the water issue, not be building more than 2 residences on there to not impact his way of life, and also, just because of the water situation down the west side of the project. Any questions from the board? Ms. Jones?
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts.
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item A passes 4-0. Item 11B, Resolution 16-25, a resolution calling for a public hearing on the proposed annexation of territory into the City of Fairview by owner consent with RS40, single-family residential zoning, and approving a plan of services, 0 Crowcut Road, 28.75 plus or minus acres, map 018, parcel 031.00. Mr. Greer.
This annexation is located on Crowcut Road. It's almost across the street from the one we just looked at. Is owned by Northcutt Custom Homes. Mr. Tim Mangrum submitted this 28.75 acre parcel. The intention from Mr. Mangrum that was expressed in his proposal was to annex this property. You will be seeing a rezoning that goes to the Planning Commission and then will come to you here in the next few weeks to rezone this property down to RS15 to construct single-family homes as a single-family home subdivision. It did receive a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission. It is within the urban growth boundary. It is contiguous with the city of Fairview. And the 2040 comprehensive plan has this area listed as a residential high-density neighborhood, which for appropriate zoning of that has RS5, RS8, residential multifamily 8 units per acre, multifamily 12 units per acre, multifamily 20 units per acre listed as the acceptable zoning for this property. Mr. Mangrum has expressed interest to not go that dense and do RS15, which is 1 home per 15,000 square feet, which would keep this less dense than the 2040 plan recommends. Tonight, the only item on the agenda is to annex this property and to set a public hearing. This property would come in as an annex as RS40, and then subsequently you would have a rezoning in front of you in the next couple meetings.
Motion to approve.
Second. Mayor?
Yeah, Mr. Mangrum, would you like to come forward, please? Yes.
Mr. Greer, do you remember, or maybe somebody on the Planning Commission also, from the Planning Commission meeting, what was the rationale for the nay vote on this one?
For the what? I'm sorry.
The nay vote on this from the Planning Commission. It was 7 favorable, 1 nay, and 1 abstention.
Can I answer that for you? Because I asked the planning commission member that after the meeting.
Sure,
'Cause
Mr. Mangrum.
I was curious. And the answer I got was, by the time it come to him, he knew the votes were there to pass it. And he was just proving a point. He thinks there's enough development already in Fairview. It fit all the criteria for the city, but he was proving a point. That's the explanation I got.
Well, thank you. How many units are you contemplating, Mr. Mangrum?
We've got a concept, a rough concept. Of course, we haven't went into engineering yet, so it's subject to change, but we're 40 to 45 lots. We don't think it'll make any more than 45. But we're probably realistically gonna be closer to 40, but I'm gonna say the 45 number just so if it comes back and it's 44, nobody can say, well, you said it's just gonna be 40. So.
That's very safe, playing it very safe there. And you said you're not going any lower than RS15. Is it definitely RS15 and not higher, like
That is
a
our
lower
plan, is
density, I mean.
RS50. We actually discussed going R20. But with the lot widths and the way this land is currently shaped, I think we're going to need the little narrower lot. And some of those lots will probably be 20,000 feet, but we need the setbacks for the narrower lots for the way this piece of land is not square, it's sort of rectangle.
And this is just an annexation. We can ask all the questions, but just so everybody knows, this is annexation. The zoning would come back for a different vote.
Correct. And Commissioner Roberts, just for your clarification, Mr. Calley was a no vote It was 7-1, 7 yeses, 1 no. 1 member was absent, Mr. King. And so just wanted to make sure we had,
Well, that's what I said earlier when I said it.
oh, I thought you said 1 abstention.
But,
Sorry.
oh, sorry, abstention, one not voting, but yes, he just wasn't there. Okay, and then what, Mr. Greer, what are the surrounding properties zoned on this right now? Are they all still county? And there's just got that one little tip that's in the city?
So the property to the north, still on the west side of Crow Cut, is zoned MGA 1, which is 1 home per acre within unincorporated Williamson County. The property to the south is zoned MGA 5, 1 home per 5 acres. The blue area to the west of this property is City of Fairview, zoned RS 40, 1 home per 40,000 square feet. And the adjacent property to the east of this, which we just had a old business item where it was annexed into the city, is zoned RS 40 as soon as the paperwork is filed. So it does have RS 40 on 2 sides of it, and then the MGA 1 is essentially RS 40, and then the southern piece is MGA 5.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Jones?
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 11B.
Thank you.
Thank you. Passes 4-0. Item 11C, Resolution 17-25, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Fairview, Tennessee, accepting the subdivision improvements associated with Phase 1 of Cumberland Estates subdivision. Mr. Curtis Broadbent.
On my copy, it says city planner, but I'll take it.
Well, I was told at the beginning of
That's
the
okay.
meeting that I was supposed to call on you.
No worries, Mayor. You have seen this one before at the last Board of Commissioners meeting, but just a quick reminder, this is the second reading for the resolution. No, this is the first. Oh, that's right. Planning Commission recommended this for positive approval. So we have a resolution for accepting the subdivision improvements associated with Phase 1 of the Cumberland Estates subdivision, along with, well, I guess we'll get to that second item, but those, our attorney can answer any questions concerning the actual resolution, maybe not right now. Yeah, I can answer any questions before you ask him any questions. How about that?
Oh, my goodness. I can't. So are we going to talk about the stop sign and trees?
Mayor?
Yes. Let's do that.
Motion to approve Resolution 1725.
Second.
All righty. So I
Mayor?
guess now we're going to talk about the trees and the stop signs. Yes, Commissioner Buffalini.
So we've already addressed some of the tree issues in our first meeting today. So a lot of those questions were answered. I just have a problem releasing a bond with that amount when they still have work to do there. There's a corner of Brazelton and Braden that has a hole in it. It's they're installing, I believe, a light post, and they're in the process of doing that. It's been sitting as a mound of dirt now for a week and a half. So I'm just concerned about releasing a bond to them of not completing what they have to do.
Commissioner Buffalini, I'm trying to recall, I believe light posts are not required to be within the right of way for this subdivision. That light post being installed, I'm not sure who would, it's not under the performance bond. So I'm trying to understand who is installing that and why.
Whose responsibility is it to install it?
So the light post in there is a developer addition to the subdivision.
Right.
That is not a requirement that is found within our documents. That is not a bonded item that is bonded by the city of Fairview. The bonded items that are within Phase 1 are the roadway, the sidewalks, the curb, the gutter, and the pavement. The stormwater infrastructure that exists in the curb is a piece of this, and the street trees. So the lighting that goes into neighborhoods, that is independent of what the city requires. That's above and beyond what the city requires. And so that would fall on the developer to complete. The developer ultimately owns and maintains those light poles and pays their own electric bill to Middle Tennessee Electric through their HOA. So that's not a city item that we're concerned about when it comes to have they completed the infrastructure that was guaranteed when they signed their site development agreement.
Okay.
If you'd like to come forward, just state your name and address for the record.
Jason Beavers with Old South Properties, 262 Robert Rose Drive, Murfreesboro, 37129. But the streetlights, they've been in process. It's just so tight in there that we've had issues with, they've hit all kinds of utilities, and so they've had to move things, and the same thing with the street trees. The gas line runs right in there, so everything's so tight. It just takes a minute to get it all in, but should be finished up here pretty soon on the lights.
And I know a lot of the trees were cut down or removed.
Right, because some of them died, and so in order to get our landscapers to come back and show them which ones are dead, we just cut them so they know which ones to replace.
Right. And there's some curbs that are busted up as well in front of 2 homes, I believe.
Is it in sections 1
On
and
Braden,
2?
in Phase 1.
Phase
on
1?
Braden.
I don't
Just
know.
outside of
I'll have
Case
to look
Way.
into that.
There's
I'll
some
have to
curbs
look
that are
into that.
broken, so.
So if we could just take a giant step back, though, because I don't know if this came up in the work session or what, but what are the improvements that we're talking about here?
Oh,
The-
we're,
This would be the city accepting the roadway into the city.
Okay, thank you. I just,
So currently, it's owned and
no
maintained by the developer. It was a bonded item. For them to get their bond released, the city has to accept the roadways that we said, that we agreed to in the site development agreement of you build it, we'll accept it, as long as they're built to our standards. Our city engineer has evaluated the roadways, and as far as your report, your recommendation was to accept the roadways and the right-of-ways throughout Phase 1 and Phase 2 of Cumberland Estates.
Any minor change, things like the curb, we're glad to fix it. We're not going anywhere.
Thank you.
Yeah, there are 5 other phases along with 1 and 2, so.
thank you.
anything else? Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 11C passes 4-0. Mr. Beavers, you might want to stay up at the podium. Item 11D, Resolution 18-25, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Fairview, Tennessee, accepting the subdivision improvements associated with Phase 2 of Cumberland Estates subdivision. City Engineer Curtis Broadbent.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll keep it short. I know we've been here a while. It's the same exact document, but Phase 2. So any questions you got, just let me know.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any questions? Ms. Jones?
Vice Mayor McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 11D passes 4-0. Thank you. Item 11E, Resolution 23-25, a resolution of the City of Fairview, Tennessee, agreeing to purchase of specific property and authorizing the mayor to execute a purchase contract and related documents. City Manager Tom Darty.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. These two, this is for the two properties to the left of City Center Way going to Highway 100. It is 5.34 acres, both of them combined. These two have been appraised. The sellers have agreed to sell at the appraised value. We have a contract. I would like for the city to use bond funds to purchase this property and help secure the campus in those two areas, and those two properties. And I guess the only other item I have to say is if this will require a budget amendment, if the board approves it, but it will be a very short and quick, just a few line items and it won't be a lot of other things going on as well. It'll just be regarding this issue. So with that, I've been in. Everything's moved pretty quick. Everybody asks me to move quick, and we've moved quick. I've been working with our city attorney, and we believe we've got a deal ready to go. So, any questions? I'm sure myself or the attorney will attempt to answer your questions.
Questions first or motion? Motion to approve Resolution 23-25.
Second. Questions from the board?
Mayor,
Yes.
this 2.15, is that over 10 years, or do we pay an interest on that, or that's just a flat $2.1 million?
That's the sell price.
And the appraisal, what did
That's the appraisal price. That's what it appraised for.
what were they asking?
I'm not sure. There's been several numbers bounced around. I on this property, I did not see a quote sales price. I've heard some rumors, but I don't know.
Was it more than the appraisal?
Yes.
I believe so. Yes.
So then the same situation would apply to if we get an appraisal that comes in cheaper.
I don't think they're the same situation, but they have agreed to this price that it appraised for. So and I will get the appraisal on that other one ordered next week.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
just because this is new, I don't think we've had an opportunity to discuss this openly on the record with everybody listening. Can you please, Mr. Daugherty, just explain a little bit about where these properties really sit and maybe what you think they add to the campus and why it's worth us investing this amount of money? Because this is a lot of money.
Keith, can you put ClickShare up here in just a minute, and I'll put the properties up on the screen.
This gives the city options for possibly a convention center up closer to City Hall on the kind of close to City Center Way. It also provides us the city security on knowing that we have control over what's going to be coming in those properties. As of right now, whatever comes in is going to come in. It also secures some events. If we want to keep our July 3rd event there, we've got a footprint that we can do that indefinitely. And I guess the only other thing is if we want to develop out further into that. The first one is I believe is 3 acres, and the second one is 2.34 acres. So, you could develop it, but I don't. I see more of the development going in the, Ethan, can you move your cursor kind of to the north left corner of the first lot? Kind of in that area, to keep it where we can still do the event with our radius, but maybe have some sort of convention center or any type of building the city chose to put there. Gives us options.
Okay, and just to be clear, just so everyone knows, that's the city center development up there, the big brown spot, yes. And then where we're sitting right now, that's us right there. And so those 2 properties that face 100. And so they're right next to the city center development. Yeah, okay.
Mayor, if I'm-
Yes.
I think it's, well, one, it's land, right? So you can always sell it. But 2, you mentioned a handful of items that potentially could be used on that site. Have we looked any further into just ideas of grandeur that those properties would allow and accommodate those type of builds? As far as like what can be built on that property, is there any issues? I know there's utilities on the one furthest from City Center Way. I believe there's like there's something there. It's like fenced in something. But I'm just curious, like
I
what,
think that's the next lot, but I may be wrong.
the
Isn't that
next lot is the house that was bulldozed, correct?
Yeah, and that's correct.
So I'm just curious, like what issues are gonna rise up in the future if we choose to do something with this land other than just hold it as blank canvas? Are we gonna run into issues with, well, that building would be great there, but there's this problem and we can't actually build that? And then we're left with a property that can't be built on and the value isn't what we paid for it. Like, I'm just curious what due diligence we've done to investigate the property beyond it's a great location, because that I don't argue.
I have not asked for a Alta survey that would provide probably 95% of the answers you're asking for.
And,
But we do have a survey that was provided and it goes all, it is pretty old. But I'm gonna let Patrick jump in on some of this because we've gone back and forth on some of these items.
So I believe Mr. Doherty's gotten to phase 1, which is an environmental assessment, and I don't know what the results of the phase 1 are, but the property, I think, has been largely vacant, so I don't expect there to be any results. And for the public at home, a phase 1 is a superficial. One of the things we need to do is to make sure that you're not buying a brown property that has environmental problems. So even though we wouldn't expect there to be anything in this location, it's still good to check if the property was mined or if there was a spill or something like that. So that's the kind of things that would pick up. There is an existing survey. It indicates certain utilities. The commitment, I believe, has been completed, and the title company sent that to Tom, and he can look at the utilities that are on there and make sure that there's not any real issue. I'm not aware of there being any specific issue. When you do not have a building planned or designed for a site, it's really difficult to know, would this building fit or would this, I mean, because at this point, you're just buying raw real estate to hold it. There is no specific plan for it now, as I understand it. It's just securing valuable property so you don't have growth creep up all around you. And then when you decide you want to have a place for a gathering or build a library or build a convention center or whatever, you don't have the property to do it where your campus is. So at this point, it's really hard. Utilities can always be relocated, sometimes at cost, sometimes at great cost, sometimes very cheaply. So, you know, I think between the commitment and the phase 1, I mean, that would be the type of reasonable research due diligence that you would do on property that you don't have a specific building for.
Right.
If the city were a developer and they had plans for a building or
Sure,
they want
I
to subdivide
understand.
it, then it would be contingent on the plan being approved by the planning commission or whatever, but that's not the case here.
I would just be interested, and again, it's not my profession, I'm not an expert on land acquisition and the pitfalls that may or may not come with that, but I have no reason to, I'm just trying to be careful is all I'm doing. I'm not against it. I just, in my mind, that's some prime real estate in the middle of town that has sat empty for quite some time. I would imagine there's a reason for it. Maybe they were asking too much. Maybe they weren't willing. I don't know. But the fact that that piece in the location it's in has yet to sell is cause for pause in my mind, at least to look as far into it as we possibly can before signing on the dotted line. Now, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if we have representation on a professional level from the city's perspective on what we can and can't do or what we should or shouldn't do. I'm sure there's people sitting in this room right now that could answer a lot of these questions, and they're probably shaking their head at some of this, but.
No, I mean, I think that Mr. Greer and the city engineer can look at the property. Mr. Doherty has the title commitment, so he can send that to our city engineer, and he may have an opinion, but without a concept of without a concept of what you might use it for, that's really difficult.
I would imagine there's some sort of preliminary, high-level, surface-level survey, whatever needs to be done. I mean, I'm not going to try to pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
There's no big TVA
I'm
overhead
just-
lines on the property. There's not a water condition. I mean, those are the sorts of obvious things that you would.
Well, I mean, if I was spending $2 million of my own money, I feel like I would, I don't know, look into it a little further, even if I didn't know what I was doing with it yet. And I don't know what that looks like, and I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but I want to know if that's something that we can say, yeah, approved with the contingency that X, Y, and Z take place, and that we can get confirmation that there is no issues. I mean, I'm sure there's not. I'm just saying that I think it would be irresponsible of us not to confirm that.
So the contract's contingent on the city completing its due diligence prior to May 15th, and that due diligence, so if something turns out and it's not to the liking of the city could get out of the contract prior to May 15th, but some of the due diligence is the phase one and making sure that we're comfortable with the title exceptions, and which I think we are. If Tom wants to talk to the city engineer about whatever utilities are on it and make sure that they don't pose any, issue in the engineer's mind, I mean, that would be appropriate. But I mean, short of doing those types of things, I'm not sure what else you would do. There's already an existing survey on the property. I recommended that we not, at this point, since we don't have a specific purpose for the property, that we not get a new survey at this point. We have a description that closes. We have a survey that shows the existing utilities. The commitment shows the utilities. So I don't think we would be gaining much from in a new survey at this point. So I really don't know what else you would.
I don't know
check
either.
at
I'm
this
just asking.
point.
I'm not,
And
it's
I
not
do a lot
my
of this-
area of expertise.
I do a lot of this.
I'm hoping that the people
Yeah.
that do get paid to look into this stuff could provide me answers on what exactly has been looked into and reassure me that, yes, we are buying property that is conducive to what we potentially want to do with it in the future.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
would
really
rec-
what I'm looking for.
I would recommend that Mr. Doherty, in addition to the phase one, he's going to order, send the commitment with the existing utilities and have the city engineer opine on the utilities that are there and the setbacks perhaps. But I mean, short of that, and I do quite a bit of this type of work for both private clients and governmental clients. I mean, I think we've done or we're going to do the appropriate things prior to May 15th. And it's set to close May 30th. And Tom can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the realtor told Tom in a conference call that I was on was that they had bought it as an investment and held the property, and they were, they held it to sell it, basically. And so now they're selling it.
Yes, Mr. there's two brothers. One of them's Keith, and the other one's David Rosenblum, and they have been kind of the middleman between the owners. And I do think they were asking substantially, maybe closer to 2.5 for the two. And I think they have been. In fact, I think they had a deal, and it fell through. I think because of finances. I don't think it was anything with the lots, but I'll do what the board wants. I've been trying to push in a responsible manner to get this deal done. But if more due diligence, if that getting with Curtis, and if I need to bring Will in about the utilities, and then going over the setbacks and make sure the survey and get the phase 1 done. If that suffices, I think we can probably get all that done and move on with the May 30th date. If it's going to take a full out Alta survey, we're pushing probably another month or two. So that's just kind of the way I'm looking at it on the timeline. And
Well, I mean, there's no urgency, right? Is there? I mean, if there is, I'd love to know what it is.
There's not urgency. I think the seller wants to, if they're going to sell the property, they've had other interest. Now, they don't have another
Yeah.
contract, but that's always what sellers say.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, Fairview's
You know.
been around for a long time, and that land's still barren, so, I mean, it's been sitting that way for a while. I find it hard to believe that they're up against the time clock.
No, but I mean, that's just what sellers.
Sure.
That's just what.
Right.
That's the
They wanna get
artificial-
paid, I get it. I mean,
the
that's-
artificial leverage.
Yeah,
That's
fine. I
you
mean,
know.
it's not against it or disagree with what they're doing. I'm just saying from our perspective, I don't know if there's an urgency to where we could, I don't know.
I think the only
Again, I would love to
urgency
hear
is-
if there's literally anybody who can speak to it. I mean, I appreciate your comment and everything you've given me, but I'm hearing a lot from you, and I'm expecting to hear from other staff that is maybe more closer to the situation.
I'm waiting for them
and
to
all
talk.
that. Yeah.
The only urgency is using this bond money before it disappears at the end of the year. So that's the only urgency
Sure,
that I'm aware of.
okay. And we have till
Yeah.
end of June, correct? I mean, I'm not against this, guys. I think it's a good thing and good acquisition for the city to buy land. I don't, especially in this location, but, as long as I've lived here, I feel like that property's been available, or at least somebody's owned it to where why wouldn't they entertain an offer to purchase it? And it's never been sold, so it's just kind of odd to me, right? Like, if it was out on the outskirts of town, sure, but dead center, right in front of City Hall, it's just kind of, like I said, I don't know why. Maybe there is no reason. But I would just love to make sure that we uncovered every rock without making a pun and seeing what's there. I don't know. Does anyone else have an opinion? I feel like I'm the only one talking on
I
this.
agree with what you're saying. The securing our campus is important to me. The bond money, buying real estate that can always be sold, that's a good use of our bond money. If this property does get sold before we purchase it, we lose our largest event for our community, because the fallout zone for the fireworks is in that location, and we won't be able to have the 3rd of July event if we don't have that property. So that's the largest event we provide at free of charge for our community. And I'd say I know that it's more than our community, because 29,000 people came last year, and, we may have 11,000 people in our community now, but that just shows that a lot of our community comes out there for this event. Plus, it's the largest seller for our Shop with the Cop program. Without being able to have the 3rd of July, our Shop with the Cop program is, from, I'm going to say, do you know how many children we serviced? 30. That I would say without the 3rd of July funding, it might not even happen. So there's just a lot of things that this property ties into providing for our community. and the securing of the campus, the bond money, we've got the due diligence for a month. If we find something in that month, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick, we don't have to buy the property.
Correct. I mean,
Yeah, so
frankly,
I
my
don't-
biggest concern is that, number one, they have good title to convey, and number two, that we're not buying an environmental disaster.
But we have a month
Yeah.
to, but if we approved it contingent on the due diligence coming out the way we want to see it, then I would rather do that than somebody come in and you never know what's going to happen. If somebody came in and bought it out from under us, then our
So-
3rd of July is gone.
So
We've
the
looked at
contract that you would be approving has that contingency in it.
Okay, well then, yeah, so it has the contingency already. But, I don't know, securing the campus and taking care of our community and that event and the programs that go along with it, I just think it's a good idea.
No, I don't disagree with you, Mayor, on all the reasons you stated. I think those are fair. I mean, I do say that $2.1 million would take Shop with a Cop to the moon and back. But
But you got to think about our bond money. You've got to think about what we can do with the bond money.
that's 100% what I'm thinking
And
about
also,
is the money.
right, well,
it
and
just-
also, we're buying it at appraised value, and we could resell it if we, needed to do that. So, I don't know. I'm not arguing it at all. I just see it as a positive for the,
No, there's
for
a
us,
lot of
yeah.
positives, I agree.
Yeah.
But if you buy it and you don't know what you don't know.
Well, but
and
that's
then you
what the due
find out what
diligence
you don't
period is
know,
for.
And then you go to sell it, and now that's all information that everybody's aware of. Your land is not worth what you paid for it, and that's all I'm trying to avoid. That's it.
Yeah.
If it's a good piece of land and it's worth the money that they're asking for it, then by all means, buy it. I have nothing to stop. I have no reason to say no to that. I'm just wanting to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're not buying a lemon, I guess, at the
Well, I
end of the
mean,
day.
the 30 days of due
I
diligence
know,
will take care of that.
And that too, I
Because we don't
wanna
have to
make
buy
sure
it
that
if they
that's
find
done.
something.
Mayor,
Yes.
I want to jump in and say I completely agree with what Vice Mayor McDonald said. I think that he said it very well. I think that we could have probably prevented all of this deliberation that's happening up here if during the presentation we were told or saw the contract so that we knew that there was this sort of 30-day contingency because that came out through a line of questioning. I don't believe I have a contract in a packet. Does somebody have it? Please show it to me if you have it.
I assumed it was in the packet.
I don't have a contract, to my knowledge. Which one is it?
28.
Well, I have this piece of paper. This is the entirety of the contract. Is that it in its entirety? Right. We don't have 6 or 7 pages in front of us. And so my point is that what we have for 23-25 has, I'm sorry. Oh, apologize. Yes, okay, contract for sale, we do have this, okay, we have this. I think that this probably could have been helped a little if during the initial presentation, though, we were just told we do have some time to think about it. What we're approving tonight is the contingency to buy it and then go forward. So I think that this is a pattern that I see, and I'm just kind of saying, can we please, like, when we're presenting it, perhaps a little bit more instead of just an authorization to execute the contract, perhaps say the contract also has until May 30th, like draw it out just a little bit more. And what that means, that it is going to include the phase 1, as you're calling it, and we'll make sure that we're not getting into something that we don't want to get into. I do see it in the inspection period here. But please, if we could draw that out just a little bit more. I think that we've all prepared and read our packets, but we also are very tired and we've had a very long day and a long week, but we're going back and forth on this. So if we could please just go into that a little bit more. And I think the problem is that when we're asking questions, there's a sort of a shrug. And maybe we could look at this before we're presenting it to talk about. Like, has anybody walked the property? Does everyone know what it looks like? Because I think that's the feeling. If I'm stating it right with Vice Mayor McDonald, it feels like we're just kind of jumping into this, but there's not a real description of what the property is and why hasn't it been purchased, I think is a very good question.
Mayor? I concur with both Vice Mayor and Commissioner Roberts. I am concerned about there being a retention pond towards the back of that property, right by the dirt, and there's a retaining wall there as well. Is that a sewage that come into, not a sewer, but a waste run that comes into that area? The topographical area would be a nightmare to level out. If that's an option that we go ahead and purchase this property, would we be able to work out a deal with City Center, the developers there, and maybe utilize the dirt that they have piled up down there instead of them hauling it out and paying to have it, taken out? Perhaps we can utilize some of the local dirt that we can just kind of level it out that way, if that makes sense. It's not a yes or no. I was just throwing it out there. That was it.
I would like to make an amended motion to defer till 30 days or next meeting, till we have a full board here and we have those of us who haven't read the contract have time to read it and understand it.
Second.
Mayor, can you clarify 30 days or next meeting?
Next meeting would be fine.
Can we have a workshop on that? Or just a meeting?
I would just like to clarify, I am not opposed to this property. I just want to make sure that, make me feel good about it, is what I'm saying. That's all. It's over $2 million of taxpayer money for property that's been sitting blank for a long time. Just want to make sure that what we're spending our money on is worthwhile, and I understand that it's a great location for what the city does in this area throughout our events and all of that. It makes 100% sense. I don't need to be convinced of that. I agree with it. I could make the argument. I just want to make sure that we've done everything we need to do to understand what we're buying is all. If that can be proven, I'm all for it.
And I want to clarify that I apologize that I did not realize that the contract was attached in here. I completely did miss that. Thank you in the packet, but I will have that read for the next one. Thank you so much, and I do apologize for that.
I believe we have a motion for
To
deferral.
Yes. So,
I'll likely need to get with the seller, and we're not going to meet the timelines in this contract, I don't think. When's the next meeting?
May 1st?
May 1st.
Yeah, and because I don't think any earnest money has been paid, and so it's going to, and without a binding contract, it's going to push us beyond the closing date, the inspection period, so.
It's exactly 2 weeks from today.
The contract's going to have to, the terms of the contract will have to change. That's not a problem, but just, it'll change the timeline. And you are correct, there's not a hurry.
I appreciate all the time and energy that you all put in getting the contract ready, and I'm sorry if I'm throwing dirt on your parade on that, but I just want to, like I said, I want to just feel good about it, and that's it.
How about you defer it until we're ready to represent? That we'll get everything done that needs to be done, have all that information to y'all, those reports, and then we'll put it on the agenda for a vote.
well, I mean, we've got 30 days, so isn't that long enough?
No.
30 days would start from tonight. Assuming that you approved it, the 30 days would start. So if we have another discussion in 2 weeks and then we approved it, that's when the 30 days would start. So it's going to take us beyond the timelines that are set forth in the contract, which is fine. We'll have to.
Can we move the closing date?
That's what we'll have to do.
I mean, we'll have to talk to the seller and make sure that there's two parties to the contract. So certainly the city's agreeable to that. I don't know if the seller is.
If I might.
We can inquire.
I think that the concerns that I had have actually been answered, though, by the conversation that we had about the contract that's in front of us, and I'm able to look at it right
Okay,
now.
then I
mean,
withdraw my
if-
motion
yeah,
to
if-
defer.
If I'm the holdup on it,
Yeah,
then that's
if
fine.
I-
I'm satisfied.
I mean,
I'm gonna, hold on. I'm gonna withdraw my motion to defer and revert back to the original motion to approve.
I want to be clear that this is a standard sort of real estate purchase agreement that cities and private parties enter into all the time with a standard sort of inspection period. And so there are things that need to be done during this period of time before May 15th, so the city can satisfy, staff can satisfy itself that they're getting the benefit of the bargain. That includes a phase one, that includes an inspection of the surveys that now exist to make sure that we don't need any additional surveying. I think that, I think staff, the professional staff that the city employs, other than me, are capable of looking at that. And if they do see a problem, if the phase one comes back where the property has some sort of issue, or there's some sort of utility that's in the middle of the property that would be very expensive to move, or a detention pond is poorly located and you know, but I mean, I can tell you it's a good sign that the property appraised for 2.1 million, because if those things existed and the surveyor went out and took pictures, inspected it, looked at the property records, and they didn't think it was worth 2.1 million, then you wouldn't be getting that kind of value. So, I mean, you're getting if you purchase the property, you're getting you're getting exactly the value you're paying for it. So, at the very worst, you've bought an investment where the property in back of it is being developed and will not look like that in 5 years. And so hopefully you're buying a property that's appreciating. You know, I don't know why the property is sat. There's property all over the place. I wonder why but people buy it and hold it, and they buy it for different reasons. But I mean, I think staff's capable of looking at it. If you were to approve it tonight, you're approving it with the contingency of the contract. I'm sorry that we didn't discuss the contract in detail, but I thought it was in the packet. I guess it was in the packet. So I don't generally like to be read to, or I hate when PowerPoints are read to me. It's one of my pet peeves, because I just assume that I've read it. So I apologize if there was a mix-up on the packet.
No, it's in
Okay.
there.
All
Thank
right.
you. No,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
in there. I think my point when we're introducing it is that it is $2.5 million. To say, like, we do have 30 days to have this inspected, I think would be helpful. But the only question I do have after looking at the contract and seeing it is just that, Mr. Doherty, we are going to be prepared to, within the 10 days after the survey delivery, like, we're ready to move within, like, the short timeline that's here, right? To go, to move forward with whatever inspections we want to do. So we won't
Yes,
miss any
I'll
of those
be,
deadlines.
I'll be looking at everything starting next week.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, so I call the vote for the approval. Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Buffalini,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McDonald,
No.
Item, let's see, what number was that? 11. Item 11E passes 3-1. Item 11F is discussion of future plans for Bowie Park out parcel. That's Commissioner Roberts and Commissioner Buffalini. If I might. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll say what I need to say after. I want to hear.
Okay, you sure?
Well,
I mean,
because what I'm going to say is going to affect the whole.
okay, well, then I'll go first.
Okay, go
Because
first.
I'm not going to affect the
Okay.
whole thing, right?
No, because that's what I'm saying. I'll just say what I'm going to say after, so, we can have discussion
Fine.
first.
Okay, well, then we'll get on with it then.
All right.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for for putting this on the discussion for the meeting while I could be here. So I wanted to add this discussion topic because I'd like to discuss with the board and in front of all of you about potentially putting forth a resolution to add the out parcel that has been the point of discussion for so long for the police training facility to our land trust agreement. And I have been in contact with our city attorney about the potential for that. I've been in touch with Mr. Doherty about the potential for that. And unfortunately, right now, there are so many properties that have been requested to go into a land trust that there is a current hold on that. So we cannot put in a new request for that. So the discussion that I'm hoping that we can have is just about the future use of that out parcel. It has been something that's been kind of discussed around, and previous boards have thought about a lot of interesting uses for this piece of property. And I won't belabor the point, but I think it's really important that that I represent the people that I know I'm representing in the things that I'm about to say. And Ms. Bowie did a great thing by bringing back this property from what I understand was a barren piece of wasteland, and now it is a beautiful habitat to a lot of animals. And if you know that part of our city very well, then you know that it is alive. It's very alive. I drive down Dice Lampley all the time, and it is a really active animal trail. There are turkeys, there are deer. It's an amazing location for us to preserve some green space in the middle of our city. If we look forward a few decades, I think we can see that the property surrounding that area will be eventually annexed in, and it will be developed. And so right now it feels like that out parcel is still in the wilderness, but I don't think it always will be so. So my position, I think, is pretty well known here. I don't know what exactly would happen with this land in the future, but I'd like to just say for a little while, let's put it to rest. And if it turns out that we or a future board can get it onto the land trust, then we can do that. If it turns out that we cannot, it's just not going to work, or there's some good use for it, then maybe that would happen in the future. But I'd like to retain the natural qualities of it, keep it as a habitat for animals and potential park use that's in line with the rest of Bowie Park right now. So with that, I'll stop speaking and open it up for further discussion.
My 2 cents on that is I think it's pretty limited as what can happen on that property due to the topography and the chemical makeup of the soil, right? Is there not? I mean, I think it's from my understanding of it and what we've been told, which is why it was being considered for the gun range, was because it's limited in what could go there due to the soil samples that have been tested and what those showed. Is that accurate?
That's fairly accurate. There are deed restrictions on the property that were placed by Miss Bowie when it was donated to the city of Fairview. And there were some soil samples that came back and showed that the property could not be lived on. But it does have the ability to have municipal buildings on it. I don't remember all 8 of the restrictions, but items that benefit the conservatory, municipal buildings, fire station, police station, anything that the city builds to better the community, were available options for building on that. Commissioner Roberts, I believe you spoke more towards land preservation and preserving the land on that, which, as have recently found out, the land trust is in a moratorium for accepting new pieces of land into that. Even though Bowie Nature Park is managed by the land trust, they are not accepting any additional properties at this time. I know Commissioner Buffalini, you've spoken to me at least about some ideas out there, and may have some ideas to share. Just looking at kind of the planning aspect of it, and you spoke to this, Commissioner Roberts, about, we are topography challenged in Fairview. To the east, quite a bit of topography. To the north, quite a bit of topography. Our last expansive area, and I listen to it all the time. I'm from here. I listen to developers all day. They are looking towards the western side of Fairview, towards the Dixon County line, out Spencer Mill, Cox Pike, Old Franklin, Crow Cut, all down through that area, looking at properties. And so ultimately, this piece of property will be in the center of town. It may not be in my lifetime. It may be in 100 years from now that all of that eventually gets developed, but it will get developed. And so this piece, I think, is a great, valuable piece of park Bowie donated land that can be utilized for some community function or functional space that gives an alternative, since we cannot build additional structures inside Bowie Nature Park since it is in the land trust today. Without the land trust signing off, this gives an opportunity for where we can build additional community facilities, and then ultimately you could put that into the land trust once they're available, and then that facility could never be added on to or have an additional piece out there.
Tom, when we had some trees identified over there to be taken down when we were moving forward originally with, was there not? That's not happening anymore, correct?
Everything has been halted, and we're, as far as anything in the out parcel.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes. We're going to take a, you sure?
Yeah, it's just
All
a
right.
discussion.
Well, I mean, I hate to discuss without,
Oh, it's okay. He's got the,
oh, Lord.
Prime.
so should I continue?
If you'd like to, without Commissioner McDonald here.
Hurry up, Vice Mayor. I'm going to continue because this meeting's been going long enough.
And I've got a lot left to talk about.
Yeah, oh boy,
So we'll be here for a while.
some donuts. So I'm going to start with my thing, Bree. So one of my ideas for the out parcel, and I know it's very early on, we still have to work through our contracts with the police training facility, but one of my ideas, and I've already spoken with several members of Friends of Bowie, and actually all of the members with Friends of Bowie at a meeting on Saturday, was I propose a Fairview Agricultural Center in that location. It's for the community. There's 24 acres of this location that's available for the city, and I was only planning on utilizing about 15 of the 24 acres, making the rest of it trails. I'm sorry? 29 acres, sorry. So we were utilizing half of it. I was going to design the balance, functionality, aesthetics, community engagement with a mix of agriculture, equestrian, and also for entertainment purposes. The concept plan, that I came up with, was about 15 acres. It's going to include 2 acres of a covered horse riding area, entertainment lawn, stage, cornhole. That's an acre and a half. This was also going to have a half acre, which is concessions, restrooms, 3 acres of public parking for trailers and for parking. It's going to have 2 acres of open green space to be multi-used for anybody that wanted to use it. Agricultural, community gardens is going to be about 2 acres. Walking trails, possible dog park, landscape buffers is about 2.25. And administration and a welcome center was going to cover about 1 acre of that property. The covered horse riding area was 200 by 300, which is a standard size. Bleachers for 300, so that we can also have income coming into that as well. All the footing was going to be sand or dirt, lighting, and so on. This is going to be available if anybody would like a copy of it. Optional entertainment staging area. We can skip all of that, and we'll just get to the good part here. If we can go to, I don't know, page a lot. Just go past the utilities and access. It's going to be the first picture. Keep going, keep going. There you go. So that's kind of my idea of an overlay. You got your covered horse arena, bathrooms, concessions. I also am and would like to add a compost section open to the public where they can utilize that. And also, Public Works, where they are right now, is a little congested, so I was going to suggest putting Public Works back there in the top corner, right in the middle of on top there. That would be a 3 or 4 bay garage with a Public Works office there, so they can house tractors and everything else they would, freeing up a lot of space where they are just now. Next slide. That's what the horse arena would be, and it's not just for horses, it's for all agricultural. It could be for cows, it could be for chickens, whatever you want to show, it could be done in this agricultural location. If you go to the next slide, there you go. That's more of a three-dimensional rendering that I would love to see happen there. There's going to be greenhouses there. Friends of Bowie would be able to utilize all of that as well. And it just kind of goes on to the next slide. It's a little more clarity, a garden, a dog park, compost area. They'd also have room for a salt shed. If you go to the next slide, gives you more of 3D renderings of the buildings that I'm proposing. Concessions and bathrooms, the riding arena, and that's it. Whew. And like I said, this is just ideas. This is just something I'm throwing out there. It's, you know, I don't want to see it sit of what it is right now, a boneyard. I don't think it's really the right thing to do with that piece of parcel. And you know, Commissioner Roberts, I love her idea as well to leave it a sanctuary as well, and just to have green space. But I think that something like this would bring a lot of utilization to that area, to Bowie Park, to Fairview. It would be great for retail, and it would be inviting a lot of people from outside of Fairview to utilize our park system. That's it.
I see that you put a lot of work into this, and have you looked into the cost for the citizens of something like this?
I did. So it wouldn't be a cost to the citizens. This would be a cost to, I mean, ultimately it probably would be, but there'd be grants, donations from corporations, sponsorships, and also from the state of Tennessee. I've already had meetings with the agricultural commissioner for the state of Tennessee, and they're all on board with assisting us with something like this, or giving us all the tools that we would need for this. I don't necessarily want, and I don't say this disrespectfully, but I don't want Williamson County to be kind of involved in that. Is that the right thing to say? I don't know if that's something fair to say, because this is the city of Fairview, and anytime they've touched something, it become theirs.
It's surrounded by county.
I know. But eventually, you know, like Mr. Greer said, it's all going to be part of the city, and, you know, it's all going to be annexed in eventually. And I just think that this would be a great addition to the city of Fairview.
Would something like this work with the topography out there?
Hard to determine without a survey. Yeah, I mean, just from what we know from imagery and, you know, Google Earth, I mean, it is steeply sloped.
Does this also align with the deed restrictions?
That would take some research to determine. I love the rendering. It's very impressive. I'm just curious if it is to scale.
It is to scale.
Very good. That's awesome.
My only concern would be the cost and the topography. So if that's handled, I mean, I think it's a great plan.
I believe that total cost would be north of $5 million, and that would be, like I said, from grants from the state of Tennessee and from sponsorships of corporations.
But not matching grants, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay. 'Cause that's about a little less than half our budget for the year.
I mean, we couldn't be further from from one another on what we think we ought to do with this place. I don't think nothing is an answer, but I also think maybe, you know, a nice another perimeter trail or something. I don't want to see our public works lose their location for certain parking or the chipper service. But a 300-car parking lot and a gigantic arena is not exactly in line. So I think we're going to have to go into further discussions about this, I suppose, because I don't even know that there's much of a use for this out here. I don't know that people are calling for a big ag facility in Fairview. So I'm kind of curious also if there's been any sort of research done into like where this idea, like, who would use this? Would this be worth the cost?
So we currently have a little over 70 members of the Fairview Saddle Club, which now has been asked to leave Bowie Park many years ago, and now we pay, or they pay, dues to Hickman County and utilize the Hickman County Agricultural Center, which is very similar to what I'm proposing. Actually, it's probably a little uglier. I know I got to be careful with my words. It's not as attractive as what we want to do. Plus, we were going to have composting, so any of the chipping service, they'd be able to chip it and utilize the chips there as well. And the Public Works Department would actually have a lot more space for what they do. So they would never be losing any property or any spaces or anything like that. The 300 car park, that's complete. Like I said, this is just a rendering of an idea of what, and that's not even, that triangle is not the complete 30 acres or 29 acres either, because it goes closer to that house there in the corner.
Mayor, for me. Commissioner Buffalini, I love the creativity, the thought that goes, I think brainstorming on what this property could be is never a bad thing. I do think that we could sit here for another 3 hours and bounce questions off each other, and at the end of the day, spend 3 hours more here. I would have loved to look at it prior to have some questions on it, so I think we should just add it for a discussion in the future, seeing how it's 10:15. We're obviously not going to come to a conclusion tonight on what this is. I think it's a good idea for us to mull over and consider and, talk about it at a later date. Obviously, it's not.
I think we could probably have a work session just on this.
Yeah, I like the idea. It's just, I'm tired.
No rush for it. No, we have plenty of time.
Well, I was hoping that we could come to a decision about what to do with this and get a resolution in a little bit sooner. So while not rushing it, I have to say I was hoping to protect the land a little bit sooner, just kind of because of something like this that I think is one of what could be several very creative ideas based on personal interest that you or any other member of the community could come up with. And that's what's been holding it as a potential firing range for all this time as well. So to me, it was a bit of an interest to get it decided quickly and protect this particular piece of property. It really is only 29 acres of additional green space that I'm hoping to preserve for the city.
The good news is the safeguard to that is for the next 18 months, the
We can
five of
argue
us are
about
the
it.
ones that decide who or what happens to that property. So we have at least a little time before you have to worry that someone else might do something that you would be unhappy with, just as a encouragement, I guess.
And I didn't want to say anything until I heard what you had to say, because I was involved with the first land trust, and I have quite a bit of experience after that whole process. And they did, like you said, they said there's a moratorium on land trust right now because they have so many applications in. So the land trust is off the table for the time being. But I wanted to let you say it because it was your item. Yeah. So are we move this to a work session at a later date? Okay. All right, item number 12, roundtable mayor and commissioners. Commissioner Buffalini.
Thank you, Mayor. I will try and keep this brief, but I got 4 pages to read. No, I'm joking.
I've got about 20, so go right ahead.
First thing I want to do is I definitely want to recognize somebody that's still sitting here. The Fairview Chapter of Family and Community Education, FCE Club, maintains a strong partnership with the Friends of Bowie, and last Saturday they donated $200 to support scholarships for the Camp of Bowie summer camps, aligning with their mission-enhanced home and community life through education, leadership, and service. So I do want to thank Mary Alice Weber and Mary Hammond. One's here in attendance tonight. So I did want to thank you very much for your donation. They also support Shop with a Cop. Linda Williams, you're a part of that as well. So thank you very much to that group, FCE. It goes a long way. And, you know, they also donate, what is it, $20,000 scholarship to seniors? What was it? I'm sorry, $2,000. $2,000. I took too many zeros. So $2,000 they're going to be awarding to a senior here in Fairview as a scholarship as well. So thank you very much. Friends of Bowie, thank you very much. I attended your meeting this Saturday right before the Easter egg hunt, and it was quite moving. I enjoyed it a lot, and they're looking for volunteers. So folks, please sign up, get involved with the city of Fairview. The Storybook Trail is moving and grooving. Bree touched on that earlier. We got a lot of things going on, and it's great. It's going to be a great addition to Bowie Park. I wanted just to comment on a couple of things. The real estate signage that we see for all the for sale homes, for the developments, it's very hard to see when you're coming down Cumberland and making a left or a right onto 100 with those signs in the way. So if there's a way that we can move those back or something, I think a lot of people would appreciate that. There's the Planning Commission. There's 4 seats that are coming available in June on the Parks and Landscape. There are 2 vacancies coming up in June, the end of June. So we have applications available online. So folks, please, sign up. It would be awesome. Also, the community engagement and praise. I really want to say something that Fairview Live, Erica Kelly and Mitzi Dela Cruz have really been interviewing. They've really been doing very well for the city of Fairview and helping Patty Carroll do her job as well. So I do have to applaud them for that. It's Fairview Live. It's on Facebook. They promote businesses, so I'm giving them shout outs for promoting all the local businesses and everything that they need to do. Also, Fairview Social Post. It's something new that Tim Hollis has got going on. He's promoting businesses. He's also inviting any citizens that want to go and talk and just give history about Fairview. I know that he wants to interview all the board and just be very candid. I think it's a great opportunity and appreciation for promoting Fairview out of the love of it, and they don't even get paid for it. They're doing it all for free. Also, serving at churches. All the churches need help, folks. So if you have free time, all the churches can definitely utilize all that you can do. Also, want to thank Public Works. They fixed the clock. Thank you, and Mayor Anderson. Just want to thank everybody for that. Crazy storms. I know it's been a little bit crazy with the water issues, but I know that the city is addressing things, and so is Public Works. I mean, they took out tires out of some culverts. That kind of alleviated some issues at one location. And also, very important, folks, just when you go to bed tonight, just remember the importance of this weekend and what occurred in the life of Jesus, what he sacrificed for each and every one of us. Whether he knew us or not, he knows us. I just want to wish everyone a very happy Easter. Keep your prayers and condolences in for Commissioner Hall. He lost someone very dear to his immediate family, so condolences to him. Congratulations to Seth Standridge on graduating the academy and becoming a full-on police personnel. So we really appreciate that. And for the citizens that came up and spoke, we appreciate you as well. Thank you.
Commissioner Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight and for listening, and for those of you who participated. Miss Rachel, I apologize for my oversight in the packet. You always do an excellent job, and I appreciate all the work that you do. And it's a little lesson in humility for me there, but I apologize for missing that. And I just want to wish everybody a very blessed Easter weekend, and I hope that you all stay very well. Thank you.
Vice Mayor McDonald.
That was close.
No, I'm sorry.
I don't have I'm just going to echo pretty much everything everybody already said. So ditto with what has already been said. Thank you all for sticking through this lengthy meeting and dealing with, I guess, some of my rambling on some of these topics, just trying to get as much information as possible when we're making the decisions that come to the city and the impact that it has. I mean, these are long-term decisions, they're permanent decisions for the most part, and, you know, just not trying to be difficult to anybody or anyone, just trying to gain information. Happy Easter to everybody. A little bit of a plug for the Fairview Titans. Registration is open if anyone is still watching with kids that are looking to play either football or cheerleading. You can find us on Facebook at Fairview Titans Junior Pro and sign up. Happy Easter to everybody. Thank you.
Happy Easter. I'm going to say that first because that's first and most important to me. Also, welcome to Kirsten Lester to the Parks Department. Congratulations to Seth Standridge for graduating the Police Academy. Welcome to our new firefighters. And just remember, as spring and warmer weather come, we have a lot of children, families. Some of our subdivisions were built before sidewalks were required. So like Castleberry, they've got, 300 homes and lots of families that walk and walk their dogs, and their children are out there playing. So please just be mindful of that and just slow down a little bit through the subdivisions and just make sure that everybody's safe, because when warmer weather comes, children are out at play, and we want all of our children to be safe. The Easter egg hunt was great. There were probably 500-600 kids, 4,500 eggs, and they were gone quickly. And they just had a great time, and the Easter Bunny knows who they are. And anyway, the Easter Bunny was out there and took pictures with everybody, so it was a great event. That's one thing that I love about our community is we have such awesome events for our community, and most of them are sponsored. We have such great businesses in our community that love to sponsor school events and our city events, and I just, want to take the time to thank them, because without them, our citizens, the tax dollars would go to that instead of going to something else. And not that that's not important, but it is nice that we have sponsors so we don't have to use tax dollars. And I want to thank Officer Fry for coming out and Richard Ross for the Easter egg hunt, because they took care of making sure that all the kids were safe and had a good time and got a lot of eggs. After the Easter egg hunt, I went over to the playground, and the kids, with warm weather, there was a lot of kids out there, but I wanted to read the pickets just to kind of see, and it was really so neat to see like former mayors and family members and remembering people who've passed. And it's such a cool thing to, just have. That picket's $50, and you've got, the information of family, and I think I've got 5 of them. And when Wes gets married in September, I'm going to have Wes and Lily Anderson put on one. So, it's so neat to kind of be there forever. And if you want one of those before they run out, they're $50. So just, reach out to Keith. I think that's an awesome way to support the playground. Okay, I'm going to make this quick, but it's such good information. I know it's late fast forward if you want to and rewatch later, but this is good information. So at the, okay, so I'm gonna start with Monday night. Monday night, I always go to the water board meetings, and, you know, some might think a water board meeting's boring. Dixon Water Authority, for new people in our community, Dixon Water Authority, they handle our water and sewer. So I go to their meetings, and they're doing some great things for Fairview. I know that we've seen a little increase in the bills. I've seen mine increase some, so I know that, you know, it's across the board. But with the Dixon Water Authority, right now, something really exciting is we have a pump station that's above ground, and it's ugly. And it's on Horn Tavern, and as you pass down through there, it's just not, it's an eyesore. Well, what they're doing is they're disassembling that pump station, and they're moving it to the north side of the same property. So they're doing kind of a land swap with the owner, where they're moving it to the north side, and then they're disassembling the part that, you know, we see above ground. But the cool thing about it is, you know, this project's about $4 million, and they're paying for it, and they're putting it in a pump house. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be a pump house where that, you know, all of that equipment is not seen. It's going to be in a nice structure that's going to look really good. So I really appreciate, you know, them voting on that and passing that and getting that done. And a few years back, they spent $8 to $9 million to add additional capacity so that, you know, things like city center and retail and restaurants and, you know, some development can happen out here when we had a moratorium. So increasing that capacity just helps our community to be able to build and bring in money to our community to be able to, you know, do great things for the community. So I appreciate them doing that. And so our two water sewer treatment plants, one is on CCC Road, and that one is off Horn Tavern, and it supplies all of the water and sewer down Highway 100. And then we have the Jones Creek plant, which is just above Dixon, and it services all of Northwest Highway through I-40. And so right now, they're increasing the capacity on that Jones Creek plant, and it is, the first phase is 30 million, and the second phase is 30 million. So they're spending $60 million, you know, which that money and that plant will benefit Fairview. So I just kind of wanted y'all to know, you know, what they're doing for us, because, you know, it's kind of behind the scenes, and, you know, people don't really think about, you know, water and sewer, but they are working for us if you see, you know, an increase in the bill. And when they vote on things that affect Fairview, you know, it's nice to have someone there, because there are 3 counties that are involved with the Dixon Water Authority, and only 2 counties take part in all of that. The other one doesn't. So, you know, I like the fact that, you know, whether it be me or somebody else, we have a representative there. Because when you show up, then you get more for your community. And I just want to quickly thank their chairman is Todd Murphy. Some of you may know him. He owns, he and his brother own Food Saver, and they're about to build the Ace Hardware out here, which should be starting any time. Also, Daryl James, he's an engineer, consulting engineer. He's on the board. Paula Laser, she owns Cajun Lake Lodge. She's on the board. And the county mayor, Bob Ryle, he can sit on the board or appoint, so he's appointed 2 people. And then Don Weiss, their city mayor, he sits on the board. And then we have, let's see, Mike Outlaw. He's also on the board. So there are five members of the board, but when, people like from our community, our board, and the other county, if we all work together, then it makes it work a lot better. So I just appreciate them, and, also Scott Miller, Michael Rogers, and Susan Tummins. They're all three CEO, CSO, and CFO. And I can tell you right now, Michael Rogers, we had a family on Chester Road. There was somebody put I think I mentioned this before at another meeting, but they put a wad of those flushable wipes, but it was like, a whole wad of it. It got clogged and it backed up into their house. And so they called me about 10:30 at night, and I went down there, and it's not about me, but I went down there, met with the family, and I called Michael Rogers, and this was 10:30 at night. He answered the phone, and he got people out there to take care of them. They were put in a hotel until things could get, fixed, and they fixed the problem that night. So, I mean, we have a great service from our water authority, and I just wanted everybody to know that. And then let's move to Wednesday. Yesterday, we had our GNRC meeting, which is once a month. GNRC means Greater Nashville Regional Council. All the mayors are voting members of the regional council, and it's a regional approach to all different things. So one thing that they had, everything I'm gonna talk about, and I'm gonna make this quick, but everything I'm gonna talk about, we're gonna have a link to services on our website. So I just want you to know about them, and then you can go and get all the details on the website. But they have Arts Builds Community Grant, and this is a free workshop for arts organizations and how they can get grants. Because I know I'm probably an honorary member now, but I've been on the board of the Arts Council for a long time, and they are always seeking funding. So I just encourage anybody from the Arts Council to go to the services part of our website and check into this grant, because it's a good grant, and I think it can do a lot for our arts community. There's also something that's really cool that I didn't even know they offered, but it's a revolving loan fund. And this fund is a fund for Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Houston, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson County, where you can apply for funds. It's at a fixed rate of 4% interest, and it's for small businesses. So, like small businesses in our community, the eligible use of the funds is machinery and equipment, working capital, acquisitions, construction and rehabilitation of facilities, site improvements, utilities, infrastructure, and that's owner-occupied commercial. So if any small businesses are in need of help, I'm going to have this put on the website, and that way you can seek this the funding from these monies right here. Because 4% interest, I don't know about you, but I haven't seen that in a while. So that's a pretty good opportunity. This one is probably near and dear to my heart, but a lot of people don't know where to go for this. And I just want to put this out there that we voted today to adopt resolution GNRC 2025-05. It's approving the annual update for 2023 through 26, the area plan on aging and disability services for Middle Tennessee. And what it does is it helps. GNRC is designated by the Tennessee Commission of Aging and Disability and area agencies in coordinating state and federally funded programs servicing older and disabled adults across Middle Tennessee. If you have a family member who has a disability or is aging, like my mom is at the Pearl right now, and our assisted living in Fairview, and they have tons of services that I didn't even know existed, from meals, help with getting them to doctor's appointments. So what I'm going to do, we approved this yesterday, and there is a helpline, and they will answer any question you have. They told me that the helpline is like open 8 to 5, and if you get a recording, just leave a message because they get back to you very quickly. And the helpline is 615-255-1010. And we will put that information on the services, a link to it as well. But anyone with elder parents, and, you know, there's all kinds of services for them. Even like their Depends and stuff, which I pay a fortune for that. So, you know, all of this help can, I mean, not for me, but for my mom, but all of this, I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, but, you know, all of this help is out there, and it's funded. And so if there's a need, please call that number because they can answer any question you have. So the last thing is today I took a field trip with GNRC, Greater Nashville Regional Council, and we went to Huntsville, Alabama, and we went to a plant and looked into resolution of trying to figure out solid waste. That is a big problem when, you know, talking about a killer for a community. Have the county come in and say they want to do a landfill in your community. You think a gun range and a training facility has got a lot of talk? Wait till they, you know, say we want the landfill to go there. Well, this what the facility we visited today is called Reworld, and what they do is they bring in the solid waste. They're out, like I said, in Huntsville, and they're right near the Redstone Arsenal military base. So what they've done is they've got this facility, and they bring all the trash into this facility, and the trash is turned in the facility to energy for the Army base. So these facilities, we were talking today about how if they were positioned in certain areas, then the solid waste, which this isn't sewer, this is trash, can be you know, hauled to these facilities and turned into energy, which I mean, just seeing the whole process was amazing. So I was excited to see that, and that way, I hope in the future we do away with landfills, because you know that I always talk about keeping Fairview beautiful. If we could do away with landfills and turn all of the trash into, you know, energy, I think that would be great for our community and for the world. But so we have a recycle center here, and if you are so inclined to recycle, it is open Sunday through Saturday, every day of the week. Saturday and Sundays from 7 to 6, and Monday through Friday is 7 to 5. And it's located next to the rec center, down on 100 past the schools. So anybody that's new, if you want to recycle, they do cardboard and glass and plastic and newspapers. And you can take it and put it in each bin, or you can go to the regular area where they compact the trash. And then also we have our Goodwill there, so you can drop off things to Goodwill. So it's very convenient to go there. Also, I just want to let you know, they do not take mattresses. So if you want to dispose of a mattress, you've got to take it to the landfill out in Pinewood and pay $20. So we don't want to leave them at the little boxes around. Those are only for clothes. You know, that's not for mattresses. So anyway, I was very excited about my field trip today, which didn't cost anything. It was just all free. And so that was just exciting to me to be able to see how they handle the trash, and they showed us the whole process of how they turn it into energy. So let's keep Fairview beautiful and pick up trash and don't throw it out. I'll entertain a motion to. Oh, there's a lot of good stuff.